Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. We're going to, instead of probably more focusing on the physical media aspect of things, we're going to probably be talking about the movies, the filmmaking process, and just about older movies in general. My co-host for the night is Mike from Dague Films. How's it going, Mike?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How have you been doing today?
Oh, pretty good. Still trying to work out this bug on my end of things here.
Yeah, I'll run it in this mode here, so it's up and down. Where there's just two of us, so it'll work. So it's just in the portrait mode or whatever they call it, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on. Why there has to be some kind of setting on your phone that's not allowing it to run in widescreen mode for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. So I got this new headset, and it was like it's not. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you not hear yourself?
I can't hear myself.
Yeah, I can't hear myself either.
Oh, okay.
That's not a untypical thing with it. I don't know why it's like that, but there's no monitor capabilities for some reason, and
Okay.
I don't know why. If there is, I don't know how you do it with this program, but
yeah.
You if I'm doing like live stream labs, if I use Streamlabs with OBS has a function where you can bring monitors in. You can turn monitors on, but I don't know how to do it here.
Yeah. It's kind of spur of the moment. I got this thing the other day, and I hadn't really used it yet until now. So it was just like, because I have a good mic that I use when I make videos. I don't use this one, obviously, but yeah. So I'm kind of excited. Talk about some classic westerns and classic filmmakers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not too prepared, as prepared as I wanted to be. I've just been lazy this week. But I got a stack of movies I've watched in the last probably couple of weeks, that, especially the older ones of that, watching. So
no,
stuff like that.
I'm not super prepared, but I think we can wing it pretty well. So
yeah, hopefully get some people in here. I don't have anybody in here yet. It's been going up and down. I had a personal, when I passed over 100, I had like a broadcast one day, and I had quite a few people in here, and then, but the other broadcasts we've been having, haven't been pulling in people. It's weird. It's just hit and miss.
Yeah, it's hit or miss, I guess. I mean, I'll run across, every once in a while, somebody I'm subscribed to is having a live stream, and unless it's one of the big name people, they'll get.
Yeah.
Even with them, on an average, I only see maybe 40 people come in. The bigger people. So I don't know what. I think every once in a while I've watched this one, and I think it does well. I mean, it gets enough people in.
Yeah, usually you can't actually tell how many people see it. I don't know how many people actually engage in the chat, but sometimes like the counter don't show people who are looking at it or maybe watching silently.
Yeah.
Because usually after I'm finished, I'll go in and I'll look at the numbers at the end of the night, and it'll be like 20 people or something have looked at it. It'll have 20 views right after the broadcast, so that means 20 people at least were looking at it.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one?
Oh yeah, Big Sleep. Yeah. I have that on. DVD.
No.
Thought it was in reaching distance.
The reason I was probably the main reason I was bringing this up was Howard Hawks. He's just an amazing filmmaker.
Yeah.
This is a great movie.
Yeah, he's done a lot of variety stuff. A lot of different genres, and he's had success with different genres and stuff. So he's just a really one of the old school filmmakers that could, do it all and had success and stuff like that. But I think they just recently released Bringing Up Baby on Criterion Blu-ray. I got that. He directed that.
Yeah, I did too. I had it laying here as well with both of them. I haven't opened it yet because I think I probably have that same DVD set that you have. I think it's like a Warner Archive set.
Well, I got this edition on DVD.
No, I have a different one. Mine has like a slip cover. It's like it's in another room. I'd go get it, but
yeah, all that's on this is just the Peter Bogdanovich commentary, which has pretty much been on all of them since I think it was reported in the 70s. Sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, bringing up baby is just like I said in one of my latest videos when I mentioned it. I believe in that Criterion video, I was talking about how I about said Audrey Hepburn, but Katharine Hepburn, she's just like a nitro burning funny car through the whole movie. I mean, she's just like balls to the wall, just with the energy from the beginning to the end. I mean, she's like that in most of her movies, but I can't say I've seen a lot of her movies, but I've seen what I've seen. She's always kind of like that, just very intense and
she's just 110 the whole time, just about. So.
But especially in that movie, she's not very subdued at all. She's just wired up whatever they kept her on during that movie.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's one of those ones you can watch a lot. Watch it over and over.
And I also got and of course Bogart and Lauren Bacall's great too in the other movie, but I've got a bunch of stuff laying here, but yeah, like Bogart. I've got one of the Bogart sets right now. I've been watching some of his stuff, and for some reason I never had watched the excuse me. Went blank here. The Maltese Falcon, for some reason. I don't know why I hadn't watched it. I thought I had watched it, but then I rewatched it and I was like, I hadn't watched this. I don't know if I've just seen movies that are similar to it because there's been a lot of copies of it.
Yeah, you've got to check that one out. I got an edition it's a 3-disc. It's a DVD, but it's got the 1931 remake, or the first one they did in 1931. It's called Satan Met a Lady.
Yeah,
and I think it has Betty Davis or something. I have that edition.
Yeah, this is the 3-disc edition as well. It's part of the Bogart set.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said we weren't going to get into physical media, but I've helps me refresh my memory. But it's that set right there.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one. The Signature series. That was a pretty good series they had there. Yeah, it's got like, what is it? I can't remember. 1936 was the Satan Met a Lady, wasn't it? And then the 31 was the Maltese Falcon, the first version.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm looking at the wrong one here, but I think you're right though.
Yeah, it's. I think it's in that order. I think the dates might be mixed up. But.
Yeah, that's a good set. But Howard. But getting back to Howard Hawks, he did stuff like Red River. Obviously, if we're talking about westerns a little bit, and I mean, he done a lot of stuff. He did like a Rio Lobo, Red River, Rio Bravo. I'm having to read them here because I can't remember everything, but I have these movies. I have Rio Bravo. I've seen all these, like El Dorado, Rio Lobo, El Dorado, Rio Bravo, Red River. I mean, just wonderful westerns. And with most of those are John Wayne westerns as well.
Yeah, I really like Rio Bravo. I think it's
Yeah.
one of those you can always watch over and over.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got a great back supporting cast. It's really
Yeah.
good. Walter Brennan and Dean Martin, of course. But he's had quite a career.
Yeah, another one I forgot. I also have. I forget that he did was Hatari as well. That's another John Wayne. It's like a not really a west. It's not a western. It's like a African safari. Yeah,
safari.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So, what would you like to kind of talk about as far as westerns go?
Well, I think somebody was on my mind. I think you brought it up weeks ago on another one was Anthony Mann. I just happened to run across him a couple of years ago and just really got into his movies because I watched. I think I watched Winchester '73 with Jimmy Stewart. And I really loved it, and I knew there was another one that they made together. So I checked that one out, and then before I knew it, I was checking out all of them. Like I had to get all. And then I found out, they made 4 westerns, 5 westerns, and then they did this. And so I kind of went on a kind of a watching spree and tracking them down and watching and stuff. So I ended up. I don't know if I got them on Laserdisc first. But, I think I got them on Laserdisc first. Sorry, I had to get this, but I ended up getting. It's kind of shiny, but yeah, I ended up getting them on Laserdiscs, and then I ended up. There were some good editions on Blu-ray, and I got Winchester 73.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and then I got. This was a dual set. End of the River.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Country.
I don't. Yeah, I've seen that one as well. That's a good one. I think both of those are, and maybe Winchester 73 are all in a James Stewart set. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I have that James Westerns collection.
Oh yeah,
you got cool. That one as well.
I found mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's in kind of rough shape.
Yeah, I got this on DVD first, but it was missing the Man from Laramie. Not having it in there because it was a different company.
Yeah.
So I finally got that. And I took the ones that came with it out and just put that one in there. I haven't decided though, but I'm such a big fan. I ended up getting like the German Blu-ray of Winchester 73, and I got.
I might have that Blu-ray as well.
Yeah,
and I have like a Spanish version of A Man from Laramie.
Yeah,
on Blu-ray because it was funny. Like Blu-ray.com actually posted on there that it was coming out on Blu-ray. This was back in like 15 maybe, or somewhere's in that era, and then I waited for it to come out. I pre-ordered it, I think, and then it never came out. And then I started looking for it, and I couldn't figure out what had happened. So the only version I could find was that Spanish version.
Oh yeah.
So, but it was region free, so everything's the same except the language on the cover.
Well, the German editions, sometimes they'll come out in Germany they'll do their own restorations and stuff, and they'll release them over there, and they usually look really good. So you can, if you have an all region player, you can get them. But there is some talk right now that Criterion might be doing a Winchester 73 Blu-ray edition though, but it's rumored and stuff. But this is one I want to see finally come to Blu-ray, the Naked Spur
Oh yeah,
that they
yeah,
did.
that's a good one.
It's only available on DVD and VHS. It's not even on Laserdisc. So that's one that you really need to upgrade to Blu-ray, I think, because they did
Is it
such a good job with these other ones, these other Blu-rays and stuff.
yeah. He excuse me. I lost my train of thought there, but
Well, what I was going to say is they just did the Furies, and this is the old DVD version from Criterion. It's got the book and all that. It just came out, it came out a couple months ago. But it's like, I don't know if I want to double dip. I think there might be something new on there, but I think this version is. I probably won't upgrade. I'll just keep that one. There's no, I mean, maybe. I mean, right now is the time to upgrade while they're on sale and stuff. But I don't know. But yeah, he was. I don't know, those westerns with Jimmy Stewart and him. They were like really mature for their time. They were dark, dark themed and stuff. They really weren't like westerns at that time or anything. They weren't made for kids to come in on Saturday morning to the theater. They were for adults, and they had dark themed, and the whole after World War II, soldiers coming home after war and wanting something with a little more edge and stuff. And I think that's why film noir and everything was so popular, after the war and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about those that are just really, really great westerns.
Isn't the Naked Spur, isn't it considered a Western noir?
Yeah.
Because they had such a thing. They had Western noirs, but really noir don't really. People think it's. I think people don't really understand noir. To me, noir is just the basic definition of noir is just something with like a sinister plot, sinister character in it. It's really the only. That's basically. I know it gets kind of lumped in with a style and a look, but it's not really what it's all about. Lots of movies could be considered noirs, but
yeah, there's some good ones in Technicolor. I mean, usually it has to have usually a woman figures into it, like a double crossing woman. It's usually, I mean, that's what it is and stuff. But there was another Technicolor movie that was probably one of the best film noirs. I can't think of it right now, but Leave Her to Heaven. Gene Tierney. It's on Criterion. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog.
yeah, he's all right.
But yeah, there's a few Technicolor ones and stuff, and it doesn't have to be black and white to be a film noir, I don't think. But there's a few of them. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of film noirs actually here lately. I've been trying to catch up on them.
Yeah, they're usually pretty good. Do you have any of those Criterion Noir sets? Or excuse me, not Criterion. I apologize. The Kino Lorber Noir sets.
No, I never did. I got a Indicator. Is it Indicator? Yeah, an Indicator one. I think it's volume 3 of the newer one. I don't have it right close to me though, but yeah, I featured it recently. My channel and stuff. Those are just wow. They're just so nice in detail and packaging, and they have so much supplements for each one of those movies that you would never think that movie would have that much supplement to it and stuff. So it's a lot of love went into it, and stuff. So yeah, that's one of the ones I need to catch up. I think I've only seen one movie on that set, so I need to watch all of them and stuff. Everything. So
yeah,
and I've also been watching Audie Murphy movies this month. I'm going to do an Audie Murphy Western episode. So he did about I think he did about 28, 30 Westerns, something like that.
Yeah. I,
So
I've seen a couple of movies with him, but I've got a couple of Audie Murphy sets, or yeah, like I got 2 sets. They're small sets, but I haven't watched them yet. I'm bad about watching them. I picked them up a while back and just haven't watched them.
yeah, well, he's in that one movie with I think, yeah. Oh, this one with James Stewart, The Night Passage. Night
Mm.
Passage.
Yeah,
That's
that's
in.
one of them I've seen him in. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one was originally supposed to be directed by Anthony Mann, and him and James Stewart had a falling out, and which was a shame because they made so many movies together, non-westerns also, and they would have made that together. So, but it ended up um, Anthony Mann walked off the project too, and James Nielsen directed part of it. Or anyway, he's credited as the director of it. So, but it's actually a really good movie. It's actually a pretty good western, and I think it would have been cool if they would have both, he would have worked on it. But I don't know. I don't know. I think he was just a cool director. His westerns are just starting to become more popular now. It's starting to get people are talking
Yeah.
about them. And, at least they're remembered. And, so
Yeah, I mean, his westerns are up there with any of them, any of the greats. To me, I think he is one of the best directors of the era. Like, and there's a lot of people that don't talk about, like Howard Hawks earlier. There's a lot of people just don't know these people, and the reason I wanted to kind of do or start doing some older, some podcasts about this stuff is just so many people don't. So many people don't watch these movies, and I think people, if you're going to like movies, you need to watch. I mean, you can watch whatever you want, but the 80s are not old movies. I'm sorry. There's some good movies in the 80s, but they're not old movies.
Yeah.
Well,
it kind of irritates me is I watch some of these guys that do, movie review stuff and movie stuff like we do, and they only go as far back as maybe the 90s, and it's like they think anything before that is they don't even. Well, I've never seen this. Well, I've never seen that. It's like, how old? You've never seen that? What do you mean? That's like textbook movie 101, and it's funny, like they'll buy everything that comes out, but they don't have any movie history knowledge. They don't. It's like there's plenty of stuff that's old, but it's a lot of fun, and stuff. So I don't want to sound old. I'm getting old, and I mean, like these kids today. But yeah, it just kind of irritates me because I was watching some stuff today, and it was just like 2 or 3 guys in a row did the same thing, and it was just like, you got to be kidding me. Stuff in the 80s was even too old. They were just like, nah. Well, this is something from the 80s I've never seen before.
Well, I've probably talked about those guys over at that do they do that podcast, excuse me, the Nerdrotic guys, but they do the Friday Night Tots podcast, excuse me. And one of the guys on there, he's like a Odin's movie vlog or something like that. And this is somebody that's got probably nearly 100,000 followers, big following.
Mm-hmm.
And they just review new stuff. I mean, it's just new stuff. And like they were talking one night, and he hadn't even seen like Escape from New York or something one night. And then I was like, what the hell? I mean, just basic, easy movies to watch. That's a basic movie. I mean, that's not even old to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And then they got these big followings, but I mean, but people just don't have interest in the older movies. Not really. Some people try to. Some people they try to, and that's great. That's all you need. I want people to try. And there's hundreds and hundreds of movies I haven't saw. Probably hundreds of movies I haven't saw that you've saw. But that's why I like talking to you, because your movie knowledge is much better than mine, because you got you actually had an encouragement. I didn't have like my dad. He didn't care about movies, and my mom, she watches stuff, but she watches like Hallmark crap. You know, that's what
Yeah.
she watches, and or like mainstream movies. I didn't have any encouragement around except some of my friends, but they hadn't seen anything that I haven't seen. So,
Mhm.
so
I
my
don't.
older movie knowledge started much later. You know, I really just got into older movies probably about 10 or 15 years ago.
Mm.
And so,
I don't know.
that,
I don't know how it happened. I mean, my dad. I wouldn't say my family's big cinema people, but because there's certainly stuff that they would have never watched. But even back when I was a teenager, they would, like I would maybe watch a foreign language movie, like a samurai movie or something, and that didn't interest them, but they still knew Humphrey Bogart. We would watch Planet of the Apes and basic stuff, and you know it really the TNT channel back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s just they used to play old movies on there and stuff like that. That was before classic channels and stuff, and I really just started picking up on stuff like Charlie Chaplin, and I really honestly people like Charlie Chaplin. I just got into these him and started discovering other people, and before I knew it, I was watching different genres and being different actors, and it just kind of stuck, and growing up, my friends would, ask me a question like, "Hey, when was this movie made?" And I would be like, "Oh, it was made then." And then they would check, and they'd be like, well, "Dang, you're right." And nowadays, you got our phones, and they can do the same thing, and be like, "Oh, you looked it up and stuff." But I don't know. I just made this connection because I would read books and stuff on it. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, man. I guess I don't know. I have a memory of all that stuff.
Yeah. I didn't have, see, I didn't have really access to laser discs back in the days. I knew about it, but nobody I even knew had a laser disc. Nobody's parents I knew had a laser disc player.
Nobody
And
I knew either. Yeah.
and the only reason I got into collecting here, last 5 years or so is just because I could afford to do it, when I was working. So,
Yeah.
and it was just something I'd always wanted to do. And so it kind of got obsessive for about 2 years there. And then I've kind of backed off here lately and got back into DVDs and other things as well. But
Yeah. Oh, that was me also a few years ago. I was mainly collecting laser discs, and I was trying to get a lot of stuff that I could never afford years and years ago, and I was finding them, and I got I got like 3 laser disc players. Um, Also during that time that there was no way in heck I could have ever afforded that back when they came out, because those things were like $1,000 or more dollars stuff. And the one I got, I put on layaway back in the day, and it was only a base model, and it was like maybe $300, but that was still a lot of money. But it took me 6 months to finally get it. But I wanted a laserdisc player so I could see those other movies and stuff, because laserdiscs were the only movies that had like letterboxing and stuff like that. Stuff. It was like I wanted to see movies letterboxed, and so I don't know, man. It's
yeah.
But I did what you did, just started getting stuff, But yeah.
I actually the first laserdisc player I got is it's one of those I didn't buy it, believe it or not. Like my uncle had some apartments, and a guy lived there, and he basically just left, and then left all of his stuff. He just abandoned the apartment. So my uncle eventually had to clean it out. So he ended up bringing all the stuff over here to our garage, and we got a building over here. We store our tractors and stuff in, but he piled it in there, and it sat there for probably 2 years. And I knew that there was there was an entertainment center there sitting there. I thought it had like a CD player in it. So one day I was in there after I used the tractor, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I think that's a laser disc player in there. And sure enough, it was. And it not only is it a laser disc player, it's one of those laser disc players, one of the pioneers that can also become a game console. It's got the places where you can put the game slots in it.
Oh yeah,
It's one of those. Now the downside of that model is it's only a single side player. It don't have the reversible. Doesn't have the card in it to flip sides. But that's the first one. But after I started watching, I bought a couple. I took it home and watched a couple of laser discs on it, and I realized that it has like a capacitor or something in it going bad, because it's like on the audio you can hear it making noise, like it makes noise, like when it's spinning, you can hear like a popping on some things. It's on. I don't know, but it sounds like a capacitor going bad in it. It's just allowing a little bit of popping to go on. Yeah. So I was like, it's either I will try to figure out how to fix it, which I could possibly fix it, so I got online and found another one. I found a guy in Columbus, Ohio, believe it or not, and he was like, he had $150 or best offer on it, plus like 20 or 30 laser discs. So I put in there, I put like 120, and he come back immediately and said, yeah, sold. I was like, I probably could have got it for 100, all of it. So I was, I was in Columbus, but he said no delivery, no shipping. He refused to ship it. And I was like, well, that's fine. So I just drove up there one day. It's like a 3.5 hour trip up there. I drove up there on the Saturday morning and picked it up from him. Nice guy. And a lot of the movies were Criterion Collection, a bunch of good movies he had in there. And he had moved from like Seattle to Ohio, and he had another player. He said when it got shipped, it got broke somehow, and the shippers had mishandled it. So this is why he refused to ship this one, because this. But I got like the remote with it. It was another Pioneer, but it was a higher end model that had it would flip sides. Now it was advertised as that the tray wouldn't come out. That's why it was cheap. The tray wouldn't remove. I thought because at that time I'd already read up on some repairs on them, and sometimes the grease inside dries up on on some of the the cogs and the gears and stuff, and so I thought, well, I can probably fix that. Yeah, I got it home, and went to and I hit eject on it, and it ejected, no problem. It's worked fine ever since, so there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. If you check eBay, a lot of them are just as is, and you get it home, and all it needs a new rubber band, a new that turns it, or it needs some grease. And I got one like that, and after a while I started getting them and fixing them because they were easy, and I was able to flip it and resell it, and it's you'd be surprised, but sometimes they have technical stuff that goes wrong with it that's like, I don't know if I'll miss with that. But if it's basic mechanism stuff, it's easy to fix, and because they're really simply made. I mean, they're made very well, compared to something made now, like a DVD player made today. It's basic. It's kind of similar, but I don't know, the mechanics of the Laserdisc players. They were made very well. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I can see they're kind of a pain in the butt to get in when you have to take them all apart to get to certain boards inside there, like the power board or something, or different whatever audio board, whatever is in there, you got to get to.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to, I could probably do some of the work on them. Now, some people do all the stuff all the way up to putting new lasers in them. If they can get a replacement laser for it, that stuff will start drying up here in a couple of years, I'd say, and it'll be kind of a pain in the butt to get.
Yeah, I think the market eventually will kind of drop again, because I think some people will give up their collections, you know, or pass away or something. Because I got one of those deals one day. The guy, I think he was a friend or the brother of a guy that had passed away. He didn't really say who he was to him, but I think he had passed away, and he had all these mint laser discs. He had mint, they were Criterion. Like, he really took care of this stuff, and he had a player and stuff, and he sold it to me. I had to drive up to Indiana to get it, but he worked out a good deal with me. But man, it was like a steal to me. I mean, it was such a good deal. And the ones I already had, I ended up flipping them and selling them, and I made my money back like 3 times on all this. And then I had so many cool, nice additions and stuff, and it was just like, wow, that don't happen every day, you know.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know. It's like with that, like somebody doesn't know what to do with it, you know. They just let it go. I don't know, but you know,
Yeah.
I kind of slowed down on Laserdisc stuff because, you know, I started getting like all the ones I really wanted over the years, and plus, you know, they start taking up room, you know. So
Yeah.
You know, so
Very much so.
So I got back into like Blu-rays and stuff because, you know, I discovered Arrow, you know, Arrow Video and stuff like that. It had so many cool movies and stuff. So
Yeah, I think kind of everybody did, because probably I didn't really start. I just started noticing getting when I was buying these older movies. I started getting Kino discs. I would get them, and they would be like Kino Lorber on them. And at first, I didn't pay much attention to them. I didn't even pay attention to the spine being black at first, and because there for a while, I didn't even keep the cases. I put them, actually everything I had is in these binders. I had like about 9 or 10 these big gigantic binders. I kept everything in because I didn't have this wall space. I had all my stuff in a different room, and it's like a little tiny room, so I didn't have any place to put them. So after a while, after I started watching some of these videos and people are displaying their collections, I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. So I finally, and anyways, the folders aren't that great to keep them in long term, anyways. But
yeah, that's what I ended up doing, like with music CDs. And then one day I was just like, man, I want to take these out, store them right and stuff. And I had lost some of the jewel cases, and I couldn't, you know, so. But yeah, I wish I had a little bit more room and I could have one of those setups and stuff. That's just, but
yeah, the laser discs are very well. What the problem with laser discs is that if you have to move, like,
oh yeah,
like they're worse than vinyl records. They're even heavier.
yeah,
So they're hard to transport.
yeah.
And that's gonna be the worst thing, because I probably got about between 1,000 and 1,500, and I've kind of slowed down. I've pretty much came to a complete halt on collecting them. I just buy them every now and then when I come across them and see, you know, stuff that I want.
Yeah.
At this point, I just about want to just look for Criterion stuff, things that are like really hard to find.
Yeah, there's some cool like Criterion Laserdisc editions. Like I think the last one they made was Armageddon, and I actually got that edition, and I got it really cheap. And I think the woman was selling it, and she didn't know what she had, because that goes for way up there now.
Oh yeah,
and stuff. So I mean, they got certain editions that are pretty cool. I think like Brazil, and it's got there's a lot of different movies that they never put back out as Criterion, you know, Blu-rays or DVDs.
So like Ghostbusters is one.
Yeah.
That's an oddball Criterion too.
Yeah.
Because of the cover's really weird on it. It's like just a picture of them like fighting Gozer. It's the oddest cover ever.
Yeah.
Those the Criterion and laser. If you want to find like oddball like cover art, the Criterion laser discs are weird sometimes. Like Pulp Fiction, that's an awesome set, but it's just and it's a cool cover, but it's like nothing like you would think it would be.
Yeah, yeah, they weren't like large print stuff. A lot of times they would just have a picture, you know, and just have very little stuff. But a lot of times they came out big booklet. Uh,
I, I, I wonder why Miramax they didn't allow the licensing for like Pulp Fiction and some of his other movies after they came to DVD and Blu-ray. Wonder why he's opted out of that.
I don't know, and he's not really done audio commentaries either. That's what
Yeah.
I always thought was weird. Like, I think that he did one for gosh, it wasn't Natural Born Killers, I don't think. Can't remember what it was, but I know he's done at least one. But you would think he would do that because he loves to talk, you know. So it's like,
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like Kevin Smith in that area.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I thought that was odd how they. I just always thought that some. What others do you know on Criterion that are only on Laserdisc other than like Godzilla and
oh,
no, well that's not true. Godzilla is on Blu-ray, isn't it? That's
yeah.
not a good example.
Well, Akira. I mean, Akira doesn't have its own.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of weird that they put out The Rock on DVD, Criterion Collection DVD. The Rock was put out, and that never made it over to Blu-ray or anything. I think they did Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap was a Blu-ray. I think The Princess Bride also.
I'm pretty sure I have the Criterion.
Yeah, they did. They ended up doing that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
the Blu-rays the Digibook Criterion.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I don't know. There's quite a few of them, but a lot, that didn't make it over. I mean, a lot of them they ended up putting them on DVD, and then when Blu-ray came around, they ended up, putting them out. Like the Seven Samurai and stuff like that. Came back out.
It was kind of weird on DVD. I never did own a lot of Criterion for some weird reason. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know if they just didn't sell them a lot around here, and so I didn't pick them up. I had like Dazed and Confused and some of the Dazed and Confused and like
Chasing
Fear
Amy.
and Loathing in Las Vegas and stuff like that. But I didn't.
Yeah. Chasing Amy was pretty common.
Yeah,
because he just put that out as a Criterion, and that's what was weird. You would see it at your store, like at say Blockbuster or something. You're like, oh wow, that's Criterion and stuff. That's when I started seeing the name again, and after I quit, collecting, years before that stuff. But yeah,
I'd never really stopped. I never stopped collecting. I knew probably from about 98 to about 2007 or 8, before I got my first Blu-ray player. When I got Blu-rays, it really kicked into high gear. Not just collecting Blu-rays, but I still would collect the DVDs. But for some reason, when I got the Blu-ray player, it really kicked into high gear for me. For some reason, I don't really know why. I didn't really get a better job at that time, but I got more inspired to buy with Blu-ray for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, DVD had some really cool packaging because the other day I was going over looking at some of the Quentin Tarantino stuff, like when Pulp Fiction came out on DVD and Jackie Brown and stuff. They had these really nice slip cases, and like Boogie Nights. There's a Boogie Nights out like that, and they went like all out on DVD for a while there.
Yeah.
Real nice packaging and made it really collectible and stuff. And of course I got all those and stuff, but I wasn't collecting as much back then. I don't know. I had a son. My son was born in 2006, so of course we started picking up like children's movies, started collecting Pixar movies and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then later on, I started getting back into collecting again, stuff that I wanted. But I don't know. It's
The
weird, man.
Pixar stuff on Blu-ray was expensive. It was about $30 for some of those discs. I remember going back and picking them up later, and they're high. Like especially like because I never had owned like Toy Story, and I went back and bought those. Toy Story 1 and 2. I don't have 3, but I have 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, and they were high. Now they might have the 3D version of them with them. I can't remember, or something weird like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny though. Disney's always been that way, collectible, even with VHSs and stuff. That for some reason, Walt Disney's always just been valuable. They just keep going up, and they put movies out a lot of the same title. They'll reissue it every so many years, and for some reason,
Yeah.
they still just But yeah, some of those are pretty, like stuff like Wally and stuff like that. They haven't really put that out a lot. For a while there.
Yeah.
Ratatouille, stuff like that. You don't see that much of, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think everything's just changed a lot. I mean, I think there's always going to be a collecting market, because there's a huge collecting market still, no matter what, you might think some days there still is,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think people's habits have just changed and stuff. And I still like physical media. I still just like picking up, having the case and reading stuff on it and the artwork, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I do too. The biggest thing that's been annoying, I can't say, I don't want to make people mad that people I do other hosts, the other people I do podcasts with, and it's not a slide against them. It's just how the YouTube culture is went. But I'm like you. I'm more for the movie, and I rather have it. If I have to get it on Laserdisc, I'll buy it on Laserdisc. I don't care what it looks like, and I don't buy movies. And I've got in that rut where I was doing the collecting thing. I want to try to get out of it a little bit now. My problem is I'm just not very good at reviews, not sitting down and doing a really great review. I'm still working on how to do that better. But I like doing the hunting stuff, but the problem with doing like Dollar Tree hunts is like I'm just loading to do these hunts. I'm just loading down on crap, It's stuff that I'm probably not going to really watch, maybe ever. And there's stuff in there I will watch because there is good stuff to find. So when I start doing my hunts, I'm going to have to try to just only get that stuff. But it's hard not to, for $1, it's hard not to grab a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problem with people who do want to build their collection that way, but that's not how I built my collection, buying like that. Because it's easy these days to build a big collection because there's so many discount things to go to. You can, people are, posting stacks of movies this high every day. And I'm like, well, I just don't do that anymore. And some people are they're posting stacks of like aerial videos. I was like, must be nice. I mean, I have no problem. If you can afford it, go for it. But I mean, that's just a lot of money,
Yeah. I guess I'm just picky. I guess when I go in a dollar store, and if it's, if you go in there, Dollar General, week after week, and they keep having the same stuff, it's just like, oh man, it's like I can't make a video this week because, sure, I could just pick up anything, but I don't. It's like, I don't know. It's like I'll make less content, but I'll just be more real, I guess, and just be like, well, I didn't get anything this week. I didn't see anything new, There is some stuff I really want to get out there, but it's like I was telling you about one time. I texted you like some stuff, and there is some rare stuff that's been put out in these Dollar General stores, and people talk about it. That's what makes hunting fun, It's like, maybe they have it, but something like it. 'Cause I remember when they first said, the Gremlins was out at the dollar stores in that deluxe case, Warner
Yeah.
Brothers, it was like, ooh, that's kind of cool, and went out and they had other editions and it was like, wow, this is neat, digibooks and stuff. And it was like, wow, so it made it fun for a while, but I'm wanting them to get some new stuff in because it's, I don't, because we had an FYE when it closed down, and then the Walmarts and Targets and Best Buys are all slimming down their media, so you can't really go into stores much anymore and find stuff like it used to be. Like you could just hunt for stuff, and it's unless you drive, and
I guess
even some of the big city places have kind of.
What's the closest big city to you? Louisville?
Yeah,
Louisville?
But there used to be some cool places up there, some secondhand stores and stuff, and I've went up there lately, and it's just like, I guess for people, if they really need money, they'll take their movies and sell them. But I think if you're trying to sell them to make money, eBay, it's going to be out, so maybe people are just selling their stuff on eBay now, and not so much in the stores, but.
Yeah, I went to Louisville like right as the pandemic was starting in 2020, like end of March, 1st of April, or excuse me, end of February, 1st of March. Went Laserdisc hunting was mainly my priority, and I went there to go to the half price books because I've been having luck at the half price books, and the first one I went to, I scored big. That's where I got those Russian sets. It's those Russian film sets.
Mm-hmm.
And I also found, like, I think about 3 Akira Kurosawa movies on Laserdisc there, the Criterions.
Yeah.
And whoever had them before put them in those really nice the heavy duty slip cases for them.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really a good find. And then I went to another. It's like a comic book shop that's down on what's the main road down there? There around campus. Everybody goes to. What is that? I always forget.
It was around Bardstown Road, maybe, or something?
Yeah, Bardstown Road. Yeah, it was on Bardstown. It was one of the comic book stores down from like Electric Ladyland and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's Bardstown.
But I can't remember. Yeah, was it called?
Bardstown Road, and
yeah, it's Bardstown. But I can't remember the comic book store now. But they had Laserdiscs in it. But they had a Laserdisc in it.
Yeah,
like The Great Escape or something like that.
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah. Stuff there, yeah.
And they had a bunch of. They didn't have anything like really great. I ended up picking up quite a few things from them, but they were nice. I called them on the phone beforehand. I'd went to a couple of half price books, and I called them up on the phone. I was like, "Hey, do you have Laserdiscs?" He's like, "Yeah, we got some in." And they were real nice. I went in, they bought them. They were cool. So sometimes people are assholes.
Yeah. No, true story. I went in there. God, this was probably 2-3 years ago now, but I found that I had a good handful of Laserdiscs, and there was a couple I didn't really want them, but I bought them because I knew there was people that were saying these were worth money, and it was like, okay. So I got it, and people were just like, I think I had The Relic, like the movie The Relic and stuff like that, and people went crazy for it, and I sold it just like that, and because I had 2 copies of it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But yeah, every once in a while you can go in those little stores, man, and find stuff, because that's a good place to go. And half price books. I know one day in Lexington I dropped off some Laserdiscs at half price. I tried to sell them for like a year, like in sales and stuff on Facebook, and just no one ever bought them.
Yeah.
And so I just said, well, I want to clear this space out. So I went ahead and just got them, and I sold them off to half price. So somebody you may have picked them up at one point.
It might
I
have.
had, yeah, I had a
bought.
I had a big box.
I bought several at Lexington. Is it the one on Nicholasville Road? If it's that one, then that's the one I bought. That's the one That's the one that always has laser discs. The other one rarely has laser discs.
Mm-hmm.
The one Hamburg Pavilion one, they never have laser discs. But Nicholasville, they'll have them every now and then.
Yeah, I've found a bunch there before too. That's a good little spot. But I don't know. That's what makes fun being a collector, doing that stuff. And there wasn't any half price books or changed. And
I think when I first started collecting laser discs, I caught the tail end of half price books, that Nicholasville location. They had got a bunch of stuff in. Transylvania University there had evidently sold all of their library collection of laser discs to them, or a good chunk of them, because they had a bunch of stuff from Transylvania, and it was a bunch of good stuff. But I think I just got the tail end of it because I didn't see them in there anymore. But they usually, I need to go in there sometime soon because they usually have some good stuff. You usually find Criterion in there for some reason.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people don't think, man, but a lot of schools use laserdisc players. They have educational stuff that show. But another thing is that at that same store, man, I found a lot of cool film books. Like they came from college courses or something, but they were about filmmaking and had a lot of cool info in them and stuff. It's kind of cool. So that's a cool little store, though. I always hit that up when we go down there.
Yeah, they're sometimes some of the stores are hit and miss on when it comes to DVDs and Blu-rays. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they don't have anything. Especially the Blu-ray end of things. But the one time lately, I went to the one in Hamburg, the Hamburg Pavilion one, and they had several like Kino Lorbers. In fact, I picked up one. I can't remember the name of it. It was called The Red something. It's a World War II movie. I can't remember. It's over here, but it was just an oddball movie. But they had like 2 or 3 Kino Lorbers there sitting on the shelf, and I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
somebody had sold a bunch of those.
Yeah, I've come across them like that before at a store, and they were kind of overpriced. They had some good ones, but it was just like, it's like, I don't know if they knew or they thought it was worth a lot of money, or I don't know where they checked to get their prices, but it was like way overpriced. And it's just like, oh, I'd like to have it, but I don't pay that for it.
Yeah, that's the problem with half price books there on Nicholasville. I think they do look up prices because sometimes things they're not like $1 or $2 for Laserdisc. Sometimes they'll have $5, $6, $7, $8 on things and I'll pay for it if it's something I feel that's worth it.
Yeah.
If it's something I really want, I'll go ahead and buy it. But usually if you find them in the wild like that, and that's kind of how there for a while, I was buying a bunch of stuff off Amazon. I was just buying stuff left and right off Amazon. And then I finally decided, well, I'm going to quit doing this. Because for one, I'm paying way more than I should be for them. And if you find them in the wild, you usually pay $1 or $2 for them. Yeah. Or up to $5, maybe at tops. But
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you get something in your head, like, you're like, oh man, this movie. And you start wanting it, and you're like, well, crap, I could just buy it now, pay a little bit for it, because you may never come across it cheaper. So but Amazon's really good for doing pre-orders and stuff, because you'll get a deal about pre-ordering and stuff. So Amazon's good at that, it's like everything.
Yeah, I pre-order quite a bit of stuff. I don't have much pre-ordered right now, but I usually do. But
I
do have. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I got that Arrow set coming, the Vengeance spaghetti western one. That's should be somebody was already previewing it on YouTube. Somebody had already got it. And they were already talking about it, and it's like it didn't come out
It was
technically till like the
that
27th.
guy that it's the guy that co-hosts with us on Sunday nights, Jody. He has it.
Oh, he does too.
Like,
Oh,
yeah, he's got it.
okay.
And
Yeah.
for some reason, he gets Arrow stuff for review. He got that Years of Lead set as well for review.
Yeah.
He just puts in. I need to contact him and be like, hey, you know, I own a bunch of your stuff, and I'd be glad to do an honest review of it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, because I love their sets, and I'd love to have that set, but
Yes.
I pre-ordered it as well, but I didn't even know much about it until he texted me saying, "Hey, did you order this set?" And I was like, "No." I thought he's going to give it to me for a second. I thought, and no.
No, I'd like to get that Years of Lead. That looks good. That's a genre I haven't got into just yet. It's the Euro crime, stuff like from the 70s and stuff. I've got like maybe one film, a Euro crime, but see, that's something later on when I get, run out of stuff to collect. It's like, hey, I mean, I'll start collecting some Euro crime. There'll be all this huge amount of stuff to chase down. So. That's what's fun about collecting. If you're a movie fan, and you really do like stuff, then you'll always have something to collect. Because I'll never run out of stuff to collect. I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it? Oh, cool.
Yeah. The way I put my microphone right here, it's hard for me to. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really nice set. I just really like the way they did the box and the stuff in it and stuff. They're really on top of their game right now, Arrow. I mean, they just keep coming out with good stuff. It's like, oh man, I can't buy that this month. I just bought this other big set. It's like give me a break.
Yeah, I've only watched a couple of movies. I watched The Savage 3, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, this you can't tell by this picture on the Savage 3, but this guy on here, I think this is the one, but he looks just like Tobey Maguire. Like I posted a picture on Instagram, but he looks just in certain angles, he looks just like Tobey Maguire. It's freaky. But I also watched, I watched Highway Racer as well, which it's I have to take it out here, but it's kind of like a car chase movie, crime movie.
Yeah,
it was really good. I mean, it's just crazy, all the violence in these movies. It's over the top, which you'd expect from a Italian, Italian made.
It's kind of like with the spaghetti westerns at the time. People didn't think too much about them because they thought, well, these are cheaply made and they're so violent, and they kind of put their nose down at it. Now later on they've come into their own now, and people really respect them. It's like, this is really a good movie, and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm really into spaghetti westerns. I've got a lot of different ones. I'm really wanting to get that Shaw Brothers set that comes out in December or November. If I pre-order it from Arrow, I think that'd be the best deal right now.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So I may pull the trigger on that later on. But it's like,
yeah, I've seen that. But how much is it to pre-order? How much is it, anyways? I haven't even looked at it.
I think it is like $100. It breaks down to like $153 US. It's like 110. UK, it's pounds, 110 pounds or something like that. It was somewhere in the 150 range. So that's another thing I really like. I love Shaw Brothers. I love all their kung fu films they put out. They just really stood apart from the others. They were all fun to watch and stuff. And I got a good amount of them. I need to do a video on them, but Because I think
What?
out of that set, I only have 2 movies that's in there, so that would be a really good set to get in without any repeaters.
How many movies is on it? I haven't really looked at the details. I've just seen the cover art and stuff for it.
I believe it's 12 movies. I want to say 12. It's like 12 discs or 10 discs.
It's a pretty good set.
Yeah,
That's definitely one I'd like to have myself.
yeah. It's big too. It's supposed to be like it's gonna be a long box or something.
You've seen this one here? This is a pretty good one.
Oh, the left-handed gun.
Yeah, Paul Newman.
No, I haven't actually seen that.
This is a good one.
Archive's got so much good stuff, man.
Yeah. This was directed by Arthur Penn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a few Warner Archives the other day. I got some new Charles Bronson movies to add to the collection and stuff like that. I found the other day. But yeah, like Kino Classics just keep putting out movies, man. Like they always make an announcement. It's just like, oh man, it's like
Yeah.
it's good, but it's like I want to get them all and stuff. But it's just like, man, I'm just glad they're putting out movies, cool stuff, still.
Yeah. I just can't keep up with it these days. Being on disability, I lost a bunch of my income, so I'm having to kind of slow down, especially with the toy collecting too. It's kind of puts a damper on my buying, but I just need to slow down anyways. My collection's huge, and I'm starting to get behind on my watching, and that's not how I used to collect. I used to, if I found out about a movie, I wanted to see it, I bought it and then watched it. And moved on, and it's got away from me with this collecting here lately, especially during the pandemic. So I'm falling behind on movies, and I don't like to be like that. There's like when I was going through my Criterion the other day, I was embarrassed to be like, well, I haven't seen this one, and I have a bunch of stuff in there that I've got other versions of, but haven't watched the Criterion version of it. So.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you can always go through your collection and just make videos out of just your collection, and stuff like that. So, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to break each month, break a little bit, because it's like this month I spent so much money, and this month I don't want to spend that much because I try to pace myself a little bit and stuff, but they can just keep coming out with good stuff, and you just can't help it sometimes. It's like, man, I want to get it, and it's usually on sale, and that's what gets you. It's on sale, but yeah, I can dive into the collection of stuff I've got and just make video after video. I could probably stop buying today and have stuff
several years.
stuff to watch. Yeah, laser discs and all that stuff. I've barely even shown my laser disc, so I don't know. I just got to come up with something,
Yeah, people don't seem to like it though. That's the worst thing. But I'm almost getting to the point I don't really care anymore. I'm not going to be a big YouTuber. It's just not in my DNA. Some people can get thousands of people no problem, and some people can't. That's what's crazy. See, I'm struggling with the toy views right now, and I don't think it's necessarily my videos are bad. I think it's just trying to get your channel into the algorithm. It's weird because if you can't, even if you got them tagged good or hashtag good, you cannot. It still won't pick them up.
Yeah,
because the toy channels are huge. Like I haven't run across a toy collector that's not monetized. I haven't found hardly any that's less than 1,000. And that's not why I'm trying to do one before, but that's just the nature of those type of channels. They're just big.
Yeah.
I ran across this Canadian girl. Now, she's a good looking girl. That's part of the reason why she's got 140,000 people, but she's a toy collector with 140,000 followers. I mean,
yeah, it's some of it's marketing and just how they do it and stuff. I mean, I don't know how they do it really. Sometimes it's the algorithm. I'm still trying to. It's like breaking the Da Vinci Code or something. You just got to figure out how to break into this algorithm just right and stuff. But I've been doing my videos for a while, and I do it at my own pace. And my big thing is meeting people and having to talk about stuff, because it's always about the movies anyway. Because like you said, it'd be nice to be a big YouTuber and get paid well or something, be your living, but it's always going to be about.
Well, that's the problem. That's the dream everybody has is starting it. But the problem is like even if you've got 100,000 people, that don't mean you can make a living. Because people that have 1 million followers are, unless you got, now when you usually get up into that kind of, you got sponsors and things, and you do make money that way, and you make money on live streams with, getting super chats and things like that. People make a lot of money, and two, people also make money on Patreon, and they people give them money. People just like to hand over their money to people like this for some reason. I don't know why, but I mean, some people on our level ask for money. I can't do that. I can't ask. If I was monetized and people start saying, "Hey, we want to give you some money to help you out," and I'd be like, that might be different. That'd be fine. But at my level, I'm not going to beg for money.
Yeah,
just because I have a channel,
Well, what's good for us would be, the companies saying, "Hey, we'll send you 4 or 5 videos each month. All you gotta do is make a video about it. You can be honest or not be honest, and we'll still send you the movies." I'd be like, "Hey, go right ahead. That's cool."
Now, I think if you wanted to, you can. I think any of us, we can go. Most of these are not. They're just choosing. I'd say there are some guys that are big enough that they do get sent stuff, like probably like Cool Duder. People that's got like 70, 80,000, and also like movies at home, their films at home. That guy.
Yeah.
He probably got big enough. They probably do send him a few things, but most of the people, even the small, people that still have decent sized channels, you just got to fill out paperwork. Now it's probably better to have a big following, but even some small channels like Jody and stuff, he don't really have a YouTube channel. He's got a few more than me, but he don't even do YouTube videos. He just does, he's got like a pretty good following on Instagram, and they still give him stuff.
Yeah.
But he just you got to fill out the paperwork and you got to basically send in, tell them who you are, say you got a channel, and they just choose certain people each month they give movies to. It's just like a voucher. It's just like it's like just copies they give to people. It's not even necessarily a special. That's what I've learned. So that's what I've learned from some of these other guys that do get free stuff, is that you just got to fill out the paperwork. And if you just do it, I haven't done it yet, but I'm not as concerned about it. I'd like to get some stuff for free, but as much as I've spent, I'll just send them a picture of my wall, say, "Look how much I spent, mofos." You can give me a couple things, but I don't want to have that attitude but still, it's
Yeah. No, I would. I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, either way, I mean, you're still gonna end up buying the stuff somehow, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how some people do it. See, my Instagram, a lot of people do Instagram, and that's something I've kind of like. I wish this whole time I had started doing Instagram also and stuff, because I don't realize how much is on there. But I mean, I have an Instagram, but it's just got like pictures, just not video related stuff. So, but I don't know. It's weird. They're big followings on Instagram as opposed to YouTube, and so I don't know.
I don't really like Instagram. I've got like 1,800 people, and I don't know if it really. I guess it makes some difference. I do a lot of communicating with the Instagram program. I do talk to a lot of people that way. That's kind of my instant messenger. That's what I use for it. and it works good for that. And you do meet people, and a lot of people. I get a lot of people that follow me from pictures, but I'm kind of see this. That's what's weird. That's what I was going to say earlier about my toy channel. And I was talking to a guy through my toy channel, another toy collector, and he's one of these guys that has. He's probably 5,000-6,000 YouTube followers, or maybe more than that. But he's a good, decent sized channel. And I was talking to him about it. I was like, I don't understand. I'm just saying, I'm trying to break in. I don't know what I'm really doing wrong. And I know it's just the algorithm thing. He's like, yeah. He said, I've actually started a second channel myself for food reviewing. And he said, I'm about to give it up because it's the same way for me. I can't even. And I thought, oh, well, he's probably monetized over there. He's just got a couple thousand people, and he thinks that's not big. Well, I was like, well, I'll go join he joined my page, and I joined his other page. So I went over there. I said, well, send me the link to your food review channel, and I'll join that. And he sent it to me. He had 32 followers, and this guy's got 6,000, 8,000 followers on his other channel, and he can't get but 32 people to come over to his food review channel.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like with my Facebook page. I wish I could. At first, I had more followers on Facebook than I did on my YouTube. I guess it's kind of evened out a little bit now. Well, no, I still got more on that page, I think. But I don't know. It's weird. It's just taste, I guess. People's habits and stuff, because I know I subscribe to a couple of people that do videos and food, and it's stuff. So I guess that they're trying to do both at the same time, So maybe that would work for them. But they have 1,000 or more subscribers easily. But I don't know, man. I guess I'll do my thing and. I just like meeting people, through it, kind of showing off stuff, and maybe somebody will get something from it. But I want to make it worthwhile. I don't want to put too much into my video, just enough to, I don't want to lose my hat on it. You know what I mean? So I just, it's
now I'm gonna keep the toy stuff going. Now, sometimes I won't have as big as hauls as, biggest collections as other week to week, because the toys are really down right now. It's hard to find anything.
Yeah.
And the stuff I like to collect is hard to find, and it can get expensive, and it might get to the point where it's maybe one or two a week just from affordability standpoint. But man, it's so cool. It's such a refreshing thing to be doing something different than movies. And it's stuff that kind of connects into the same world. To me, it does. It's something I kind of always been in the back of my head for many years that I never did. And I thought it was kind of, until I started seeing more adults doing it. I feel better about it until I learned that basically the toy industry is not selling. The toy industry really don't sell to kids anymore. Most of these toys are being sold to people our age.
Yeah, the retro
people who grew up with it, and that's what the toys are: G.I. Joe, He-Man, Transformers, and then you got Power Rangers, which came a little bit after us, but is a little bit past our generation. I don't have any interest in those, but Ninja Turtles are big, all that stuff. It's just.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, a lot of the stores don't have stuff. It's I'll go in there and look just to look. I mean, and it's well, Walmarts can't keep up with anything, or they just don't bring in stuff. And I haven't really been checking at Target very much, but every time I go, they just don't have anything. It's I don't know where everybody's finding toys at. I guess they're ordering directly from these companies and stuff. I guess I don't.
Some things I've ordered from Amazon, as long as I can find a retail price from Amazon or a very small markup, I'll buy it. Especially with the He-Man, the Masters of the Universe stuff, the Origin set, and
I found
that stuff is yeah, that stuff is. I'll buy that way, and I've bought like one of the GI Joe classifieds that way.
I found some little ones. They were He-Man. They were just like they're more like mega, not the Mega Block series, but they're miniature ones. And
Yeah,
who knows? That was the only thing I could come across.
these.
Yeah. Well, no, they were bendable. They were small.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Yeah. It was. I'll have to do a
Yeah.
video on it, but I mean, I got a bunch of old GI Joes and stuff. I pulled them out the other day just to kind of look at them. I need to fix some of them because they're rubber bands that broke over the years from sitting and stuff, and maybe just go through them and everything. But
I think you would really. I think you'd really like the classified series.
yeah,
I don't know if you've been checking any of those out because they're basically a 6-inch version of the old guys, except they're better done. They're really nice. That's what everybody's going crazy over. Well, they're also going crazy over the retro, which is the original 3 and 3 and 3 or 2 and 3/4 or 3 and 3/4, whatever. If 2 and 3/4, or is it 3 and 3/4? What they are? Yeah, something like that.
3 and 3/4,
And that stuff, some of the guys that hunt on. Some of the guys that have been hunting on the pages I watch, they'll run across a couple of them here and there. I ran across a couple of weeks ago, and I would have picked them up for you. Well, I think it was 2 of the same guy. And I picked one of them up for you, but the card was destroyed on both of them. They were like at a Walmart, and the card, but it was some generic character I couldn't even remember. It wasn't like Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow or somebody like that. It was somebody I'd never heard of anyway, so that's why I didn't pick it up.
That's cool. Yeah. I'll come across it. It's just a market on those. When I was young, I had all those vehicles, play sets and stuff, and I wish I would have kept those. I kept all my people, my men, and the file cards and all that stuff that went with it. But as I got older, my parents ended up, getting rid of stuff, and when we moved on to other things, and instead of keeping it, they, yard sell stuff and sold stuff. And it's like, oh man, they're like $600 now for a tiny little vehicle. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I wouldn't even care about selling it. I would just want them now because it's just,
yeah.
Oh, you never know. That's what's fun about collecting, I guess. Keeping stuff and selling stuff.
Yeah, that's some of that. I've only done one so far, the Ninja Turtles stuff, but it was that unboxing toys from my childhood series. I'm gonna do another one here soon, either my He-Man or Transformers, which those are basically, for the most part, a lot of that stuff's destroyed, but from other kids playing with it. My Turtles were kind of untouched. I'm missing some stuff in it, but for the most part, it's untouched. But my original He-Man and Transformers are, except for Castle Grayskull, and I have the original Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. Oh, but have you? I've still got them in the box right now, and I've only got 2 of the figures right now. But have you seen the figures for the new? They're the Masterverse figures for the new Masters Universe Revelations. Have you seen any of these figures yet?
No,
they're 7-inch figures. This is
wow,
skull. If you can see through the reflection, there you go. This is Skelegod.
Oh, no.
It's Skelegod, and now I did pre-order the rest of they are appearing at Walmart right now. You can find the He-Man and the regular Skeletor and Wave 1 at Walmart's, but I just pre-ordered them from another company because I wanted to make sure I got them. But here's the Battle Cat. If I can get him in shot. There you go.
Oh wow, yeah. That's for the new Netflix one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't look half bad, that new Netflix version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my local Walmart has He-Man stuff. They've been pretty much getting He-Man stuff in and stuff, but I've been really wanting to try to find GI Joe stuff, and I just haven't been able to find it. So, but
Now I have been finding some of the GI Joe classifieds at Walmart, but they've kind of ran dry again. They had a period where, like this recent wave, they put out a bunch, but they disappeared pretty quick.
yeah,
Got to be on top of all of it, and but the problem is I haven't been doing it long enough to really know exactly kind of when they put stuff out, because they put stuff out randomly and on random mornings. You never know. Like I went to Walmart Monday, I believe, Monday morning or Monday or Tuesday morning, and I actually found they call it the Flock Panther from Masters of the Universe, the Origins line, and it's Panther, but it's got realistic fur. It's got like a cloth fur instead of being a plastic.
oh, okay, yeah, I've seen a
And
little miniature one like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I found him, and he's hard to find
yeah,
as far as out. I mean, that's not like people not finding him, but he's kind of. And they had like two of them, and I bought one, and I went in a day or two later, and it was gone. So people are, as soon as but other than that, like the Masters of the Universe is hard to find. The Origin stuff is hard to get. I haven't found hardly anything in store. Now you can get He-Man and Skeletor all day long. There's always tons of them, but the other guys you can't hardly find.
yeah,
I want
yeah. I
to
saw
find it
that
in the
you had
wild, but
well, you had the Ram Jam guy, didn't you?
yeah. I got this, but I ordered this. This is the new battle armor
Yeah.
Skeletor, and they're called these are the deluxe figures, and it comes with extra head and extra hands, some extra stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now I am out of the box. I will pull him out of the box eventually. I don't care
Yeah.
because
Well, as long as you keep like all the packaging and stuff, later on, I mean, people will, if you ever wanted to sell it or anything, that I would just keep everything. I never thought when I was a little kid to keep the boxes that stuff came in because people pay crazy prices for an empty box. So it's like, okay, but they need it for their be complete. But yeah, it's wild, man.
yeah, these new figures. When I first started seeing them, I didn't have any interest in them because they were. I didn't realize that they had stepped up. They're just nice. The new ones they're heavier duty, and they have a lot of articulation. But this is the new Ram Man. But if you remember, the old Ram Man was just like a solid piece of plastic on the bottom, his
Yeah,
legs,
yeah,
and like his arms really didn't do anything. But
yeah.
this one, he has articulation and the
Oh,
wrists and the elbows and the feet. The feet don't do a lot, but it still does still has the spring action
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
And this is a deluxe figure as well. He has a different head. This one is like the battle mode head that he has the face covering on. I
yeah,
like that one the best. And he also come with two axes and another hand that fit, so you
yeah,
can put both axes in the hands like that.
yeah. Yeah, I
So
remember the old one just didn't do anything. It was just like a big piece of plastic that just had the
yeah.
spring action, but you couldn't
And
do anything.
this is soft plastic around his, so it kind of allows his arms to bend up with it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's like a soft rubber.
yeah, yeah. I mean, all that's designed by somebody that loves it. It's not designed for some 3-year-old to play with. It's for it's for the adults.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, no,
definitely.
they're cool, man. And I don't know, I was huge on GI Joe, and I had He Man, and I had a few Transformers, but Transformers have been around for a while now. They've been able to stay around, and you keep seeing all the different waves and stuff Transformers over the years. But yeah, it's
I've just
fun.
been. I'm sorry, I'm talking about toys so much. I got excited. I've been excited about it. It's fun and it's
Yeah,
something different.
no, I have the
And
same interest, man. It's
yeah,
just, it's kind of like, I could be buying toys, or I could be buying or not laser disc. Or well, I could be buying laser disc, but mainly, Blu-rays. That's kind of what's my thing, So,
yeah.
man, I sure do really like, you know, what they're doing though. It's really cool, market.
Yeah. Next time you're in Walmart, pick you up one of the new. They'll have either They'll have Skeletor and He-Man, but pick up one of the new He-Man. Buy because they're like $14, and just when you pull him out of the package, you'll know what I'm talking about. They're denser. The plastic's denser on them. They got a different, like the skin tones are better. Like the old figures were like glossy, slick, kind of glossy
Yeah.
plastic, and these are more flat, and
I
they just
remember
look better. Yeah,
if I remember right, like the old He-Mans had like a rubbery head, but their body was kind of a shiny, just hard plastic, if I
yeah,
remember right.
yeah. Some have like a soft head, and yeah.
Yeah.
And they also had they had that rubber band inside. It's kind of like GI Joe's, but just a larger version. It held the legs on and torso together
Oh
like a
yeah.
rubber band, and eventually they all got that bow-legged look to them. So that's
Yeah.
what I always joke about. They have like a
Yeah.
bow-legged look, and all these
Yeah.
new guys have whole different mechanics. Like this Ram Man, you can't tell, but they don't have that rubber band anymore. The way they got like socket joints, everything fits into, and the waist rotates and stuff. Like on He-Man, the waist will rotate separate from the body, so they're completely posable. They're definitely not. And see, some of them like that Ram Man, his arm popped off. So like his arms sometimes they'll pop off easy, so they're not made to really play with like the
Yeah.
old ones. So
Yeah.
they're
Well,
definitely aimed at.
I remember the old ones. You would try to stand them up, and they would immediately fall down because they weren't able. Their joints didn't bend, so they would just fall over. You'd have to
Yeah,
hold it up against something,
yeah,
pose it up in the castle or something. But yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. I don't know. I mean, like with your channel, it's like I don't know. It's like breaking into that algorithm somehow. It's just because you got the content, you got the cool stuff. It's just I don't know.
Well, this last video I got like 12 views on, which come up a little bit, and I picked up a few subs. So it'll hopefully it'll start snowballing a little at a time, but it's a little at a time. Some people can get on here and like they just like snap of the finger, they got like 500 people. I just don't have that luck. I don't have the personality, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't. I admit I'm not a big personality, so I understand that. I try, but sometimes I see other people and I like, my stuff's as good as theirs, and
But, I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes. 'Cause I'll see people with really no. Well, for one thing, though, they won't have the content, and then they're not even that great, and they like you said, they have all these followers, and you're just like, it don't make sense. It's
yeah,
weird. But I don't know what people look for really. Because like when you look at the analytics and stuff, it's like a lot of my subscribers, a lot of them do look at my stuff, but there's a good percentage of it is just random. Like people just
yeah,
randomly come across it. So it's like
yeah,
it's all a new adventure for me. I mean, I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, so it's just kind of just doing my
yeah,
thing. But I'll do
yeah.
a video and just like forget stuff, and I don't think I'm that well spoken either, or anything. You know what I mean? Like I'll have brain farts constantly, and I don't edit very well. I just turn the camera on and that's it. It's like if I mess up, I mess up. I don't care.
Well, I forget that I can edit, and if I forget something, I can just edit it out. and if I just don't think about it, and I get make myself too nervous. And so some people just roll on. But I did a video on that the 12 Mighty Orphans, that movie that came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And I had kind of a brain fart towards the end, and I was saying something. I was saying something like 2 or 3 things in a row, but I was like, I had pauses in between it. So I went back and edited those pauses out, so you can't even tell that I paused in between them, because in between the shots I was staying real still, like I was trying to think what I wanted to say next. So whenever you look at it, you can't even see any movement. So it's just like I didn't even. So
yeah.
I try to get better at editing that way, because sometimes I just get lazy, because I can do a much better job sometimes at editing. Sometimes I'll have a rough cut in there. And but a lot of times what'll cover up a rough cut's a good transition. If you have a kind of a rough spot, if you put a certain kind of transition in there, it'll cover up that jump, you know.
Yeah, that's big set. That's one thing I'm still trying to get better at, is editing and stuff, you know. But I don't know. In a way, it's kind of like I like it the way it goes, you know. It just seems more natural, because I'm not. I don't know. I guess because I'm just saying it. I wanted to keep it like it is right now, like me and you talking, you know. And I might forget something, you know, while we're talking, and then, you know. But what I'll do is put it.
I like your reviews a lot. I like them. I wish I'm just forgetful. I got like bad quick recall. I'm just horrible. So I've been trying to figure out how to script it. My problem with scripting is my eyes are bad, so I can't like read off something that's, you know, like not right in front of my face. So I can't like have some kind of teleprompter sitting about 3 feet away from me. I just can't see it. So if not, I can write a little bit. I can write better than I speak, and I could read it, and it would be better things that I write. But when I go off script, I'm terrible sometimes. Sometimes I can put it together. If something I'm real passionate about and know a lot about, I'm good about talking. Like the toy videos, in some of my other stuff, I'm pretty good at, but other like reviews, so I've just been terrible at it.
Yeah, I mean, some days I think I sound better than others. I don't know. I think it's just, see, one thing, when I first started doing this, I thought, well, I'll have something, I'll write it down, and I'll try to stick to what I wrote down and everything. And when I did that, it just didn't work at all. And so I just had to just go free, you know, free flow, just, you know, whatever I can remember and want to say. Sometimes I feel like I talk too long and stuff. That's the only thing I'm trying to. I don't want to bore people, because people have, you know, short attention spans as it is, you know. So I don't know.
Well, like we haven't had really anybody on here tonight. We've had people popping in and out, but people don't want to listen to stuff about old movies. That's the only problem. But I still want to continue doing these with you, because I like maybe every other week doing this. That's why, like I was talking about doing that movie club, I like to do that, but I'm afraid that people won't do it though. That's the problem. They might do it if I had 1,000 followers. I'd have a lot more followers. I could probably get them into doing it, but I just want to do something to be more interactive with people and be able to get people into it. The problem with doing it with movies is, in a lot of cases, you almost have to go to like the streaming platforms and see what movies that are streaming, so people have the option to go watch it on a streaming platform instead of having to buy it, you know, or hopefully they already own it. So that's the only difficulty with doing that. Actually doing that was a suggestion from another follower of mine. And he was like, why don't you do this? I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about doing something different. And that's a good idea, but it's just going to be something hard to implement.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you pick and choose stuff, like maybe when the He-Man thing comes out, that would be something good to cover, because it's, you know, associated with the toys and stuff. You know, that's not a bad idea. You know, I heard they're doing a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes movie and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's just. See, I had a thought there, and I forgot what it was, but.
Have you seen the Snake Eyes preview?
No, my kids told me about it. I need to check it out. But oh, that's what I was going to say. Your live streams with the other guys seem really good. I mean, I'll tune into it. I may watch it the next day sometimes, just listen to it off and on and stuff like that. But it seems like it kind of seems like it works pretty well,
Yeah, I play off those guys pretty good. That's why I like Charlie because Charlie's kind of a bigger character than me, and he can keep the conversation going better. He's better off the fly, than I am. So I like talking to him. Now they are more collectors than movie people, which is fine. That's nice to have a difference of opinion with people.
Yeah.
And the reason why I started doing that instead of working with why I started doing it with them is Charlie asked me to do the show with him, and the only reason I moved Cult of Collectors over because I hadn't established that as something that was going to be Cult of Collectors was going to be my show that I was going to do separate, and I just suggested that to him because I liked the name and. But Charlie, he used to have a different partner, and he had kind of left. He had kind of quit on him, and Charlie asked me to do a show with him, and that's why I kind of started doing that show with him instead of Jason. I like Jason, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Work out with them.
It is what I mean. You got to try stuff. I mean, like we're all talking about in the beginning, or just try this or try that because we're all pretty new at it. So it's just you got to do what works, and maybe it doesn't work, maybe it don't, maybe So I don't know. It's pretty cool that you have somebody will bring somebody on like mid-level media came on. That was pretty cool. So yeah, it's it's a good little start with that.
Yeah, we had a real good night that evening with the viewers. Yeah. It was a really good night, but
the last
we've been struggling a little bit. It's hard to get people to come on. I mean, it's not hard to get guests to come on. It's hard to get viewers.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know what the secret of all that is, though. But yeah. I mean, I have, like you brought people on, and I've discovered them, and now I watch their channels, here and there. Yeah. So it's good for everyone somehow, some ways. I don't know, maybe.
GCAP's got a good channel.
Yeah.
Some people's just got good personalities, and that are good at it, and will excel on the platform.
Well, I think we're all good at something. I mean, it's where your heart is at. You just got to know when and how to do it just right. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just having fun, and that's why I started it, because where I got on disability, I was sitting around doing nothing. So I was like, I kept watching channels. I was like, man, I can probably I could probably cobble together something just to have something to do, because I like the production end of it. I like making videos and editing them. Excuse me. And I thought, well, I'll start doing this, and it should be fun. And I have fun doing it. That's mainly the reason. That's why I said I kind of want to kind of back off a little bit on the hunting and stuff as far as the movie goes. It building up a bunch of stuff, because it's starting to be not as fun doing them and doing as many videos, but you got to kind of do it to keep getting views. But I don't know. It's just kind of a weird balance that I just don't want to burn myself out on it and completely quit,
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what makes you happy. So, I mean, sometimes you got to stick to that road, like me, I'll make videos and I'll put them out when I put them out. And, if somebody watches it, if I get 50 likes on this video, then that's good, but it's easy doing those Criterion, Barnes and Noble videos, because I easily get 1,000 views on it easily, because they're just popular. People are searching it and stuff. So I'm like, wow, that first one I did got 1,000 views. So I'm like, wow, so it's just, I don't know, man. You just got to do what makes you happy, you know. Like I pick up what I pick up, and I'll make a video of it. If somebody likes it, and they'll, you know. But I don't know. You just got to make yourself happy. You know, the main thing is movies and stuff. And that's the way I look at it. It's like I'm still going to be loving movies and having fun. So
Yeah.
It's just meeting guys like you out there. You know, it's like, yeah, he's like me. He likes the same stuff. That's kind of cool. You know.
Yeah.
Collecting stuff. So I don't know. It's all just a roll of the dice, I guess. Sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have fun. That's all. I don't want to get super serious about it. I would if I kept getting bigger, which my channel's actually, starting to do pretty good as far as getting consistent views, and I'm getting consistent new followers. So, I'm up to 130 now, so
yeah,
I'm starting to roll.
Yeah, I kind of set for a long time at like 40 or 50 subscribers, and it pretty much just sat there for a while. Like I wasn't really doing much, and then all of a sudden I started moving. Started moving a little bit more and more. So it's just, and I haven't really changed. I've just done the same thing. So maybe you just got to keep, pressing on and doing your thing, because at least you do variety, though. You do some variety of stuff. You do toys and do other things.
Yeah, but the reason I started the toy channel is because I actually uploaded a couple of toy videos to my channel at first, and to this day they've done nothing. Now they are tagged to go to the toy audience, not to the movie audience. But even like my subscribers didn't even watch them, not really.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like that one thing where you got to check, if it's going to be a will kids watch this, restricted, or adults, and then you may check that wrong, or it's all in the tagging somehow, because since they started doing the, pound and tag,
Mm-hmm.
those seem to see, I didn't know about that for the longest time. I just did tags at the bottom.
Yeah.
Based on the subject, like if it was John Wayne at the bottom,
Yeah.
And they weren't really getting seen. So I started doing that other, and they started being seen now. So I don't know, man. It's strange.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's people out there that just don't have anything really, and you wonder why they're so like, why are people watching me? It's like, I don't watch this. This is ridiculous. But
yeah, from my understanding, the tagging at the bottom is only for YouTube. That's how YouTube basically categorizes your video, how it basically puts it into their own system. But hashtagging is how you get to the individual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but some people, if you got enough people, you don't have to do much hashtagging. If you got enough followers, and your videos just get out there. I never do that because I don't have that many followers. But some of these big people, you'll go, because I go to their channels to try to get examples for hashtagging, and they'll have like 3 hashtags, and it'll be like the basic stuff that I'll be using. And I'll be like, well, I'm using the same stuff, so why am I not getting a few views on it? So it's all like I was saying before. That's why I keep saying algorithm, because it's all in how your channel gets. It's like a snowball effect, how it rolls into that algorithm. You eventually just got to get more and more and more, and it finally. But some people are just able to do it quicker. But there's some things like this is the reason I got into toys. But another thing about their channel is that the channel is called, if you ought to check them out, they're called Collector's Crush. It's a guy and a girl in Florida, and the guy, they're both like students down there. They're both fairly young, and when you see the girl, you'll understand why they went from basically 0 to like 12. They've got 12,000 subs, and I bet they've only been up for several months. But you see the girl, you'll understand why. But I didn't go to the channel because of what you'll see on the channel with her.
Yeah.
I was interested in the toy hunt because they go toy hunting all the time. But I guarantee they've got a bunch of little kids that follow her page because she shows her boobs.
Yeah.
Oh, she shows a lot of cleavage. She's a good looking girl. But women, they've got it good on the internet. They can't say they don't because they do. If you're a halfway decent looking girl, you're going places on something, Twitch or
It's
or
like
YouTube.
it's like you say, you put a toy with it, and there you go. People are going to tune into it. So it's also how you sell your video. They're using the old classic,
Yeah.
put a nice looking girl with it, and it's going to sell. It's like,
Well, obviously the guy that's with, I guess it's her boyfriend, but you see her with him, you're like, he's all right, but you can see why he's probably the actual collector, and he probably got her to. They're both one of them. She's like an architecture student. She's pretty intelligent, so he probably like, hey, if you learn how this stuff, we'll start a YouTube channel. He said, I'm already a toy collector, but I don't think I can get very far on my own. And if we start it together, we'll with you on there, we'll go far.
They brainstormed on that one probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the one that you had the guest star on, that was pretty good. The live stream with was it Danielle?
Which one?
With Daniela. Was it Daniela?
Oh yeah. Well, can't think of her name right now. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The stream. Yeah. That was. I mean, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. It wasn't the greatest interview ever. I hate to say it on my part, because I was unprepared for it, and I kind of underprepared for it because I thought that my co-host on there was going to be more prepared, because he's the one that talked to her on. He's the one that got it set up, and he wanted to just do it on my channel because I'd already had the channel, all this stuff set up. Yeah. And I was expecting him to be a little more engaging than he was. And I'm not blaming him just because he's kind of gets nervous on air too. It's not his fault. It's just, I would have, if I'd have known that I would have prepared more thoroughly. And I haven't seen a lot of her movies, but I knew enough to, but if I could have prepared and wrote better questions, the questions I wrote were real basic, but I thought they would be more conversation invoking, and they didn't. They were end up being kind of like one line answers, just because she was just able to answer them. I thought they would get more out of her, but they didn't. And so I didn't write a lot of questions, and I needed to have written probably an additional 20 questions to have got through an hour video properly.
I think I would have been pretty nervous too. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm up to the point where I could do that. You know what I mean? Like, because even doing live streams, like, I try to see, you know what I mean? I try to be professional, but, I be very unprofessional.
Her name is Fawn.
Oh, yeah.
Fawn.
Yeah. I had seen her in something. I wasn't totally.
She's in that Clown NATO. Clown NATO. Yeah.
Some of those, yeah.
She's good in Clown NATO. She's definitely the best actress, in fact, actor in the whole movie, for sure.
Yeah.
But she was fun. She seems like she's a pretty sweet girl.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool that she did it, though. She wasn't. I mean, that's pretty cool, though. It's good promotion.
Yeah, we've got somebody coming on. That's the thing about Charlie. He's like really big into trying to get people on there to, kind of bigger guests. That's the thing about him. He likes getting bigger guests on. Let me see what the guy's name is again. The page is called Cinnamon Nitrate. Cinnamon Nitrate. He doesn't have his name here, but this guy he said he worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Rookie of the Year, and Little Monsters. So I don't know what capacity. I'll have to do some research before on here in the next couple of days on him. I don't know him at all, but he also did but Charlie on his old show and with his old host, they had Charlie Talbert on there, which was played Angus in the movie Angus.
Oh yeah.
And he was on there. I went back and watched that interview. It was a really good interview. He's a really pretty interesting person to interview. He's very lively. So, that's getting people like that. It's just fun.
Yeah. It's keeping your channel, that's people check that out.
I just wish I had a bigger audience to feed these people when we have these. That's the problem. I just don't have a big enough audience to bring people on. It's just I just don't like having these big guests on and then not having an audience for them. It's kind of.
Well, I mean, you got to build your audience, and that's one way to build the audience too.
Yeah.
Get people to come on there. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
But it's still fun, It's basically just we've just been having a conversation here, and we're just having to be taping it live,
Yeah.
Which eventually, people will start coming in and be having more interaction. I just don't know why we've had people trickle in and out, just no interaction tonight. People just don't have interest in older movies. That's the problem. Not a lot of people. Some do, but there's the problem I'm having. What I find out there is there's a lot of physical media collectors, but not a lot of movie watchers.
Fans, they'll buy it, collect it, but watch it or something.
Yeah,
I mean, I love new stuff too. I just happen to like older stuff also. So.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but I'm probably less into some of these contemporary movies that come out than anything. Not so much theatrical movies, but some of like the B movies and stuff. I don't see very many of. Some of them I should see, but they've been going for some. A lot of this. There's so many people that's like been really into the '80s here lately, and there's some good stuff. I've got some stuff here but the things that I've got from the '80s. Here are the things that these people are not watching, the big thing this week's been that Howard the Duck, which I bought because I thought it had good cover art, but the movie's shit, man.
Yeah.
People like it, but the movie is not good. I remember not liking it as a kid, and that's when it should, I remember being a kid and being like, there's something not very good about this, it's not a, it's not a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, me and my sister would watch it, but we both knew it wasn't a great movie. It was just like you just had to watch it. It was just so weird, the special effects.
Yeah. It's got good special effects for the time, but it's just not a good movie.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I guess it's the cult element of it, nowadays. Everybody's looking back at it like, like it's more than what it is, but. Yeah,
this is a good 80s movie.
Yeah, there's like a whole genre of movie like that, teenage movies like that, from the 80s. The wildlife, yeah.
I mean, that's got Tom Cruise in it, losing it. Tom Cruise, and this movie here is basically the Brat Pack. This is a Brat Pack movie that nobody really associates the Brat Pack with, but they're pretty much all of them there.
Yeah.
Chris Penn.
Yeah.
Chris Penn. Let's see here. Chris Penn, Leah Thompson. Alan Mitchell or Dylan. Is it Dylan Mitchell Smith?
Yeah.
Jenny
I don't know.
Jenny Wright,
It's like I
Eric
would much
Stoltz.
rather watch that right now than say something that's, you know, maybe a little newer, maybe not a big movie, but I don't know. It's like I got so much time each day to watch certain things, so it's just kind of, I don't know. It's like I got to pick something pretty good, or I'm just going to waste the day. I don't know. It's like I have so much to watch. Being a collector, it's like, oh man, I don't want to watch that. So I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have so much stuff, you want to watch it.
Yeah, I've got too. That's like I'm saying. I'm so where I've got behind. I've got too much stuff. I got all those noir sets I need to that I've only barely broke into, and there's so much stuff. And every time I watch one of those noirs, I'm always blown away with it. It just and
well, that's what you should do, man. You should do a month where it's like you're going to do like a noir month, and like you watch one. And maybe do a review or something, because I think I'm going to do that pretty soon, because I got a bunch of noirs I've been going through. So a lot of people do like noir Novembers and stuff like that, but I might do it before then. But
yeah, definitely.
Just pick a subject, that's something.
Yeah, absolutely. See what else I've watched. Oh, this is another one. Now I'll just start going through some stuff I've been watching. I've just been wanting to share with other people, but this is a good movie. This is a Clark Gable movie, and Spencer Tracy. Excuse me, Clark Gable and Spencer Tracy. This is Boomtown.
Oh yeah,
this is a good movie. It's essentially like a oil boom type movie, about oil tycoon type people or people. It's basically both characters kind of they'll strike it rich and then they'll go poor, and they'll strike it rich. It's kind of back and forth between both of them, and they're both friends, and then they both become bitter enemies.
Yeah, I got a good Spencer Tracy movie, Bad Day at Black Rock. I originally got that on Blu-ray, which is
that's excellent. A Bad Day at Black Rock. That's an excellent movie.
Yeah. Well, that's another one of the Criterions that was out on Criterion back in the day. Laserdisc. Yeah, Mr. Blanding's Builds His Dream House. Yeah.
I like Myrna Loy. Well, both of and Cary Grant also. Myrna Loy, I always liked her from she was in she's been in many things, but I always remember from the Thin Man series of movies, and she's just got this weird. I think she's sexy for the era.
Oh yeah. She's done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The Thin Man, and she's done all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Station West, that was really good. Yeah. Is that the Blu-ray?
No, the DVD.
Oh, okay, that's the DVD. Yeah, I got the Blu-ray of that. Man.
Is there a Blu-ray of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just the Warner archive version.
Yeah, it's kind of a Western noir in a way.
Some of these might be the ones you recommended too, like this one. I think this is one you recommended. Yeah.
Yeah, Death Rides a Horse. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. This one was all right. It wasn't mind blowing.
Who done it?
It's a Benny Hill movie. It's a British movie. Who done it? Yeah. It was all right for Benny Hill. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't bad. Now this is interesting here. Sorry, I'm not talking about these more thoroughly, but I'm just kind of running through them before we're done here. But this is pretty good. Godard, Alphaville.
Actually, I have that on Laserdisc. I don't have it on anything else. It's really good. It's like a French noir.
It's a Kino. For some reason, I believe this may have been one that should have had a slip cover with it, but where I ordered it so late because it's a it's a studio classic. So I'm not sure. it feels like a lot of his movies usually have slip covers. But yeah, that movie right there, it's supposed Alphaville. Well, you know all about it, but Alphaville, for anybody listening, supposed to have been. It's kind of a sci-fi story for the most part, but it's shot. It's shot around. Shot in Paris, but they kind of shot it in the areas of Paris where it was kind of the most modern parts of Paris and concrete buildings and things that look kind of authoritarian. It's basically kind of an authoritarian world they're living in, and
it's
but
cool.
it's supposed to be like a space city or something weird like that. But it's very authoritarian, information controlled city. It's just a weird, yeah, and it's just a bizarre kind of movie.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely science fiction-y that way. There was something I was gonna. What was that I was gonna tell you? I don't know. I done forgot. See, this is what I do all the time. It's like I think of something and forget.
Godard's somebody I haven't taken a giant deep dive into. I've seen several of his movies, but
I haven't either.
I'm bad about foreign people. Like Fellini, I've seen several of his movies, but I haven't seen all of his stuff. Obviously, nobody I've seen all of, just because it's nearly impossible. Excuse me, it's nearly impossible. Yeah. But this is one that came out that's a really nice. This is.
Oh yeah, Last Train from Gun Hill. Yeah.
This is the Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I've only got one of those Paramount Plus ones. I've got Mommy Dearest. It's pretty cool. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Yes, yeah. It's got the clear case and all that. So yeah, that's an excellent movie. I think this is another one you recommended, I believe.
Robbery, yeah.
This was really good. I think I did comment. I did say something to you about how I like this a whole lot. Yeah, this was excellent. This is an excellent movie.
Yeah,
a lot of car chases and things like that in it. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like caper films. Like pulling off a heist or something. It's kind of cool how they did that.
Yeah, really good.
What was it? Showed something just a minute ago. Oh, did you happen to get any of those Kino Eastwood movies where they came out? They had the slipcases, like they put out a whole bunch of. They put like 5 out, I think. And each one had a slipcase and different artwork, which is kind of different from Kino. They usually don't do that much. Yeah. Those were pretty nice.
Yeah, I got a few of them, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that one yet on that edition, but I got that one. Yeah, that's really nice.
I got the Joe Kidd.
Joe Kidd, yeah. I got the regular release. I don't have that one. But there's like 2 or 3 other ones, and I don't know. I think Kino did a really good job on that with those slipcases. Because normally I don't really think much about slipcases.
I've not even opened this because I've seen all the movies on it, but I picked it up just because I was telling you I didn't have that fifth or that Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and all that stuff on Blu-ray, but I did have it. I have it on this. I just never have opened it and watched it. Because I have regular DVDs for that. Yeah. That's Kino.
Yeah. No, that's a good set. That's got all those. I think I got all those individually from Kino, but I didn't get that set. They did a pretty decent job.
I couldn't pass up that. I couldn't pass that set up. I was like, man, I've got to have that, even though I have all those movies on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I was like, I've got to get those together. That's why it's not open, because I've seen them all. One day I'm gonna break into it and watch them, look at those transfers. But now, is that transfer? is there a newer Blu-ray transfer that they corrected some of that early issues with?
Yeah, on the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they changed it. They said the transfer on that, I think that one you just showed was a little more yellowish in the tone of it. The new one's it's a little more crisper. I checked it out. It looks a lot better.
The
I mean,
4K.
they keep toying with it and trying to make it look like this and stuff. But I mean, I think it looks the best now. But I like the way it looks on Laserdisc, even. So I just love the movie. But I mean, I guess they each one have their own look, but everybody hated that one look though. That last one with the yellowish skies and stuff. It didn't look right.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good release to get 4K of that, and I hope they do the other ones 4K.
Yeah, that's why I didn't buy the Good, Bad. I didn't buy the Good, the Bad, the Ugly in 4K. Is that the one in 4K? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. That's why I didn't buy it in 4K, because I'm waiting for them to put out the whole series. That's what I'm hoping they'll do. And surely they will.
Yeah, because there was a big demand for this movie right from the start. They talked about it, and there were people pre-ordering it already. So I imagine they will do that.
Yeah, they're starting to pump out stuff on 4K, and I'm just not going to fall into that trap of rebuying stuff unless it's just something I absolutely really want. That Howard the Duck, I shouldn't have bought that, but I kind of like the look of the Steelbook, and I just wanted it. It is even with being a bad movie, but
is it a 4K?
Yeah. It didn't deserve a 4K transfer. I'm telling you that right now.
Nah.
There's so many more classics that need a 4K transfer before that. The stuff that needs transferring is that stuff in the 60s, like Technicolor stuff. That stuff looks beautiful in 4K.
Oh, yeah. Black and white looks really good in 4K also. I think I have Howard the Duck. I think I have a DVD release of it somewhere or another. But it is what it is. But,
I'm not a
lot of stuff's coming out on 4K.
Yeah. Yeah, I see stuff every day that they're releasing. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to rebuy that or not. That's not. When I first started into Blu-ray, I was like, I'm not going to do that. But the problem with Blu-ray is you find out pretty soon. You find out pretty quick that it's worth it to have it on Blu. If you can get it in Blu-ray, you need to try to get it on Blu-ray at least. To me, that being a collector, if you never can get it on anything else but DVD or Laserdisc, that's absolutely fine. But if I can get it in Blu-ray, I prefer to get it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
If it's an option.
That's where I am now with a lot of stuff. It's like, I'll look for Blu-ray first if when I'm trying to track down a movie. But if I have to get the DVD, I'll get the DVD of it. But.
The big thing is I'm just not a big horror collector. I don't know if you do a whole lot of horror, but that's why I don't buy a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff, because they're putting out a lot of that I guess stuff that's probably only on VHS horror, I think. Yeah. And I just don't have much interest in it. I know some people love it. I mean, it's just a huge thing. I'm just like, don't blow me away. Horror.
There's big fans of the horror stuff like that, and like the people that have channels exclusively to horror, they get a lot of followers. But a lot of the stuff I just don't. I don't know. I'm just kind of. I have a lot of stuff I like, but I can't say I'm a big fan of horror. I like horror, But
I have stuff, and there's stuff that's fun, but most of it's the problem with it is they don't try to, like, a lot of it's low budget stuff, and I feel like they try to emphasize certain parts of the filmmaking aspect over, and other parts suffer a lot. Now, it's usually the acting and the writing of the movie, and the most important parts. Now, sometimes the technical aspects are all right. The cinematography will be, be fine in them, but I just hate bad acting, and for no reason. It's like, and sometimes I always think they do it on purpose. There's, bad movies. Obviously I'm a Mystery Science Theater fan, and I like bad movies, but I like making fun of bad movies more than I like bad movies. But bad movies, just bad dialogue and stuff, stick out like a sore thumb, and just bad editing or bad, something. And a lot of these movies have all those components to them, and I just can't stand that.
A movie we saw the other day was it was from the late 90s, I think 98, the movie Volcano. We were watching it, and I had never watched it before. Somehow I missed it. And it was so bad. It was laughable. It was so, and usually I always try to find something good in some of the bad things. Usually something is in there that's okay, an actor or something. But it was just like the whole thing was, I couldn't say anything positive about it. It's just too funny.
Volcano's the one where that's in the volcano. It's like a caldera erupts in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Yeah. I used to like not so much that movie, but I used to kind of get into I get into like those natural disaster movies for some reason. I like them. I like Dante's Peak. Not saying it's a good movie. I just like Dante's Peak and things like that for some weird reason.
No, but, I do too.
But that's not a good one right there. And like Armageddon was pretty bad. Things like that. Yeah. You remember Armageddon, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Bruce Willis and all that stuff. I just remember the scene. It's so ridiculous when when they're in space and they go to the space station. They go to the Mir space station. They're like, "Oh, we've got to do this maneuver to create artificial gravity, just so they didn't have to do a expensive like anti-gravity scene." It is like the most ridiculous thing. Because I was like, the Mir don't do that. Those space stations don't create their own gravity. And it was such a bullshit thing to make up,
Yeah.
And on the spot. And it just made this for this stupid scene, I was like, yeah.
It's hilarious. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's just one of those things where you just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to do a part 2 of natural disaster films and stuff, and that was one of them. I need to finish. Because I was
like to see it again. I haven't watched it in a while. I like to see it again, but I don't think I even own a DVD copy of it. I don't think. I might have it on Laserdisc. It might be something I picked up in a bulk buy somewhere, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I could only find Volcano on DVD, unless I don't know if there's a Blu-ray of it or not.
I like Earthquake. The 19, when did that come out? 78 or 70? It was 76 or something like that.
Like 74,
74. Okay.
Seems like 74. Yeah. Another good one is Roller Coaster. If you ever get a chance to watch that, it's from like 76 or something like that. It's a lot of fun. There's a guy that's like going to all the amusement parks, and he's like doing terrorist acts. Like they'll call them up and say, do what I tell you to do, or I'm going to blow the roller coaster up or something. I don't know. It was something like that. And it was pretty good. It was kind of got that flavor to it.
Yeah, that's we didn't really get into talking about it too much tonight. We'll have to do it on another show a little bit more, talking about the kind of the what movies were filmed on. I'll be a little more prepared the next, but kind of the different films of the eras and stuff. Because I just, that's the thing about this, when you go into from the 60s to the 70s, and the reason I know that there was probably a change at least in the cinematography, or at least the cinematographic, I don't know how the best word is, but the film they shot it on.
Yeah.
There was a change from the 60s to 70s, somewheres in the late 60s, early 70s. I know there's a change for sure because, like I've said before, that somebody, what was his name? Billy Bob. What's his name? It did the horror show on TNT.
Joe
Billy
Bob.
Bob or Joe Bob
Joe,
Briggs. Yeah.
Joe Bob Briggs. Yeah.
Joe Bob Briggs. He was being interviewed, and he was talking about how they wouldn't allow him to. They said if its movie looks like it's in a certain color, you're not allowed to show it. Basically saying it's 60s movies. So anything 70s and up, he was allowed to show, but anything from 60s and below, 70s and below, he couldn't really show because it was Technicolor or whatever. There was those brighter colors, which I like those movies. I like the way those movies look more than the 70s. 70s, it seemed like everything went to more grayer tones, and it was just like the film stock was more generic. It was weird.
Yeah, it seemed darker. A lot of stuff looked darker.
Yeah,
it might be the film grain, or the film stock they use. I don't know.
Well, it's possibly just the camera technology got better and they got cleaner, and well, obviously technology was getting better. Oh, the one thing I did want to talk to you about, I've always liked cinematography as well in movies, and but I think it's on the Notorious. You may have seen this documentary, but I think it's the Notorious documentary where they're talking about the cinematographer in that, and some of the shots that Hitchcock had him set up are just these beautiful crane shots that coming over this flying over the state, and they're perfectly timed and perfectly framed for the particular action that's going on down, in the scene below or whatever. But they were talking about how difficult it was back in the day to frame a shot. You had to, because the old cameras didn't have a view scope like new cameras have. The view scopes on the old camera, you had two view scopes on them. You had one that set offset, and then you had the one that looked through the lens of the camera. But whenever the camera was filming, that straight on, the actual view was shut off because they didn't have the technology, I guess, to make a refracting lens in those days, so they could get but basically the view scope was offset. So whatever shot that was set up was offset, because after the camera was running, it would block off that viewfinder, the main viewfinder. So you had to use the offset viewfinder to set up a shot.
Oh, wow.
And so everything in those old days was like, basically whenever the camera was moving or tracking and being run at the same time, everything was filmed. So whatever the cameraman was looking at, he had to know that everything was offset so to set up those shots were extremely difficult back in the day.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I do remember on that they were talking about when they filmed that scene where he's walking up the stairs with the milk. They had to put like a small a key light or something in the glass. He had the cable to it or something was running down the sleeve of Cary Grant or whoever had it, so it could show up just right.
Yeah,
it was some interesting, cool stuff they did on there.
Yeah. When you look back at old films that got made, it's amazing that how great these movies turned out, because it was extremely difficult to make movies. That's why there wasn't very many independent movies made in the early days, because it's extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Extremely, I mean, I guess you really started having independent filmmakers in the 50s, probably starting to come out in the 50s. Maybe before then, but I mean, it was extremely difficult to put together a crew and all the equipment that you needed to make a movie back in those days. All the audio equipment, the lighting. Old cameras just didn't. You had to have an extremely bright lighting. That's why old movies, like, people burn up from lights. You know, it was just hot because they had to use these massive lights to because I guess the gate on the cameras just didn't open up. The aperture wasn't big enough to capture enough light like newer cameras are, and they just had a lot of lighting issues. And
I've heard stories with the Technicolor when they would have to shoot it because it was like the 3-strip Technicolor. The lights would have to be so bright, and they would actually melt stuff on stage. Like there was something, like an actor had like a rose or something here, like a flower. And before the scene was over, it had done like completely collapsed from the heat because there's so much heat being put off on them. It was torture in a way.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of actresses talking about how horrible it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of work back then, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because I guess that's why I don't watch as many of the B movies these days, because it's not the same. A B movie today is not the same. I think it even almost means something different. Back in the day, it was definitely. I think in the early '90s, I was thinking about this other day. In the early '90s, you started having what they was really the first people when they first started dubbing things independent made. I know you had stuff that came before, like Easy Rider, and you had movies throughout the '70s. So we're definitely independent made movies, stuff that like Robert Downey Sr. made, and all the exploitation movies, with a lot of exploitation to be considered independent, but it really didn't get dubbed independent till the early '90s with Tarantino and people like that. A lot of those were still B movies, and they were still considered Bs. But I think the stuff that are getting dubbed, they started getting dubbed independent, were really just B movies. Because some were, obviously, like some things were independently financed to make the movie, but they eventually got distributed by a company like Clerks and things like that. But back in the day, you didn't have movies like that. You had to have like a B unit in a studio, but still. Now they didn't operate with much money, but they still operated with the professionalism in a lot of cases as they did making an A movie, especially with like Bud Bedecker and people, some of those directors who were just like top notch B movie directors and should have been A movie directors.
Yeah.
And may have made a couple A's, but mainly made B's and just made wonderful B movies. I mean, just outstanding B movies.
Well, see, a lot of that stuff was back in the day, the studios would own chains of theaters like the MGM, and they would have all their chains, and they would show their MGM movies in there. So they would have the A picture would be the big picture, and then they would have a smaller budget one would be the B or something.
Yeah.
So it would be cheaper, but didn't mean it wasn't as good, But they're just looking at it like that. But nowadays it means, like you said, it's something totally different.
Yeah.
Change.
I guess there still are B pictures, what are considered Bs, but they're more considered independent movies now, I think, to some degree, even though some of them are made by the studios, but they just, I wish we were shown movies like they used to show them. Like you go into the movie theater for a whole experience. You got a maybe one or two. You got a B movie. You went in for a whole afternoon. You got maybe a cartoon or a short film beforehand. You got the whole experience, because they really, like in the old days, it was just amazing. All the different things they used to do. Especially back in the World War II era, where they would show like. Well, for one, they were showing a lot of propaganda for either side, but they showed a lot of propaganda films, and they showed a lot of newsreels and stuff beforehand. Yeah. And those, yeah. Oh, I did. After I seen your videos, I remember when they came out, but for some reason I hadn't picked them up. Crap. I don't know where they're at, but I picked up those. Well, I don't know. I don't know where they are. They're shoot, what's his name? He's a cartoon maker. It made a bunch of those.
Tex Avery.
Tex Avery, yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up that 1 and 2 set. I remember when they came out, and I never did. Then I saw your video. I was like, I need to pick those up. But then I went back, and they were cheaper than when they were new. So I picked them up pretty cheap, and I was glad I did because those are some good stuff right there.
Yeah, I like to get those.
Yeah.
But
Is there just 2 sets right now?
Yeah, there's volume 1 and 2. They could probably do a volume 3 and 4. There should be enough material to do a whole bunch of them.
You probably have this, don't you?
Oh yeah.
I've literally bought, like, this is like the 3rd box set of these I bought to finally put together one good set, because I bought some that had bad boxes and then bought some that had a good box but had bad discs, and I've finally put together a set that's good.
Yeah, and that one's not too bad, not too badly priced. So you can get
I bought it for nothing a couple of times, hardly, like $5 or less. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what I paid for mine, actually. $5.
I was trying to pull something else out here if I can find it. Oh yeah, these are the ones.
What's funny though,
this one's still sealed. I haven't even watched this yet. That's weird.
Oh yeah, the Golden Age, Volume 3.
Yeah, I got 1 and 2 as well, but
yeah, Volume 5 is one that's worth a lot of money, and it's hard to find. But they made a 5 on it. It goes as high as like $400 or something like that.
I may have 4 as well. I can't remember here. I can't remember which ones I have.
What's funny about that Thin Man set, on DVD, the Thin Man box set is worth a lot more now than it was, because it's been out of print for so long. But
I'm not sure if I have. I don't know why, because they've been releasing the Warner Archives have been releasing all of them separately. I've got like 3 of the Thin Man movies on Blu-ray now, but I have one of the sets. I have a set that's got the Thin Man. I don't know if it's that one in particular. I've got a DVD set that's got them on it. I don't know if it's the entire collection though.
Yeah, it's one of those, like fat box sets. It's got like all 5 of them in it. Slipgate gonna go right in it.
Yeah, mine's not like that. Mine's a different one then.
Yeah. My dad was a big fan of it, so I got that for him 1 year, and still got it. So, but yeah, I thought about getting one for myself later on, and it's so expensive now. It's like I don't want to pay $50 for it.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. I love the Thin Man series.
Oh yeah.
Dick Powell. they're both drunks basically. Myrna Loy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like really physically drunk, but they're drinking all the time in the movie.
Martinis one after another.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, it's just especially the first one where they're just it's hilarious.
They have that little dog, Asta.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know. They just got a certain charm to them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
those old movies.
I know, it's like that's part of what I like about older movies. They're just, I don't know, they're just different charm to them and different stuff.
What year did those start? Because I think the first one's before the code, isn't it? Before the
the first one was 34, so I think that's the year.
That's right at it. Yeah,
but I think some of the stuff flew by the code on that one.
Yeah,
a little bit of stuff.
It's funny watching movies kind of before the code, especially like James Cagney movies and stuff like that. Yeah. I think it's called. I have one of the Blu-ray, one of his Laserdisc sets here that's got. I think it's called Blonde Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I got that on a set actually. It's on one of those pre-code sets, Warner Brothers sets.
I don't know if that's the set. I have a Cagney set. It's just called James Cagney, but I can't remember if I do have like one or two of those sets you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
But he's that movie. That movie, he actually Blonde Crazy is not so much. He's not so much an abusive man. It's like an opposite. That's what people don't understand. I see all these feminists in an uproar, and a lot of these older women in these movies. They just need to go back and watch them. They were strong women.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of strong women characters back in these days.
Oh yeah.
Back in the era, whenever it really wasn't a, kind of, it wasn't portrayed in reality as much. It was kind of the opposite. But there's a lot of strong women in the movies.
Yeah.
And because the woman in that movie is just like they're basically James Cagney's. I'm sorry, I don't know the actress's name in the movie, but they're basically petty thieves. They're like and like they kind of go into cahoots together. They kind of go into like what do you call it? What kind of? But they were just they were thieves, but he kind of falls in love with her, but she's just mean to him all the time and basically using him.
Yeah.
And eventually, she just leaves him, and
I think it was Joan Blondell, was the actress. Joan Blondell.
Seemed like that sounds familiar.
I'm trying to remember how it went, but yeah, I think I have it on one of those sets.
But he's like falls in love with her, but she just mean to him the whole time, and like.
Yeah.
And
kind of treats him like a brother or something, a friend, not really. He falls for her or something.
Yeah, and like she eventually screws him over in a deal. Like they get in with another group of crooks, and they like convince him to go steal something, and then they kind of turn their back. They take the money and run, so to speak, when and he's not looking, and she leaves with them, and eventually she turns up at the end and he gets shot, and she like realizes she's in love with him at the very end of the movie. Yeah. So but he's there's that other movie that's on that same set. It's the movie, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the one where he's a thief, and he murders somebody and then to escape from the murder, he moves to Hollywood with this group of people, and he becomes a famous actor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
Now that's the movie where there's another girl in that movie, and she's not really his love interest in the movie at all, but she's just kind of mean and wanting to screw him over because he got famous and like kind of turned his back on him. And she's just trying to screw him over and trying to get the woman he's trying to date, which is another actress in the movie, try to get him jealous or something. And he like roughs her up. He like grabs her by the hair of the head and like drags her out of a room and throws her out in the hallway. I mean, it's rough. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me look. I think I have that right over here.
I have it too. I just don't know where it is at the moment.
Not sure about that second one you were talking about. I think it may be on here. Blonde Crazy. Yeah, that's on this one. Forbidden Hollywood, Volume 8. I'm not sure if that second one's on here. Maybe wrong about that.
Yeah, I have some of that Forbidden Hollywood stuff on Laserdisc. You probably have those as well, don't you?
No, I don't think I ever got those on Laserdisc. I know there was a few volumes of it. But they only did 10 DVD volumes. which are pretty nice now. I mean, you can they're
Here
worth
we go.
going up in price.
I was wrong. That's not on my James Cadney collection. I don't know. I've got, it must be on that collection you were showing me there. This is the collection I have here.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is a nice one. Yeah, I got that. I got a gangster set that's got a lot of his on there. Got one that's called the Picture Snatcher. I don't think that's not the Hollywood one. I can't think of which one it was. Then there's Lady. Maybe you're thinking. I think you're talking about Lady Killer.
Yeah, it might be it.
Because there's a scene where he's pulling her down the hallway.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Lady Killer. Yeah, they made some good movies. Like I remember you talking about one day where you said, well, they just turned them out one after another and stuff, but they still ended up being good movies. Yeah, that's a good set. I never did get that either on Laserdisc.
I think I have all these. This is volume 3, but this is a pretty good one too.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Art of Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 4. Is there 4 of them or 3? I think there's 3 of them.
I think I just have 3 volumes, but there might be 4. I'm not positive.
I think there's only 3. But yeah, that's a pretty cool set.
That's what amazed me so much about Laserdisc is these sets are just amazing, and the way they play too. Because this is one I really love right here. It's not, the movies aren't great, but they're good movies. They're just like, but they all play back to back to back. You know, the way they're not individually. The movies aren't individual discs. They actually. One side will be on one disc, and the next movie will start on. So it's made to play out like a movie marathon.
Yeah, yeah, those are pretty good. Those were pretty quickie sci-fi movies, but they're pretty good though. Universal sci-fi. Yeah, I think they just announced it today, but Criterion is releasing the Incredible Shrinking Man. That's coming out in, I think, October.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That and a couple other older movies.
That should be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're releasing a lot more older movies now. They took a kind of a break. They hadn't done that for a while.
Yeah, I have several of these.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a similar set on DVD, but I don't recognize any of those being on that one though. So that's pretty cool that you have it on that set.
I think there's 2 of those that like that. As far as I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I like Laserdisc, because they just have some cool sets. And the first thing that struck me was there was something more cinematographic about watching them. There was something, I don't know. It just felt like going to the theater and watching them. I don't know if it's where you don't get like on DVD, they already got, by the DVDs, they had already started cleaning them up. And I think on the Laserdisc, you still get like scratches and things in the film. I mean, some they did do restoration work on, but some they didn't, and it's just it feels like you're watching it projected more so than watching like a digital copy of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Some movies have that kind of feel to it.
Yeah, not all laser discs, but it has a different feel to it. I believe the very first movie I ever bought on Laserdisc for some reason was Jurassic Park. I don't know why I did that, but I bought it. Now, I didn't buy the box set. I just bought the regular gatefold edition.
Well, maybe since everything is so digital now and everything's kind of cleaned up and sharper, it's like if we go back and we watch a Laserdisc one day and it's projected where it's not so sharp and it looks more like it's at the theater or something. I think that's what.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
we're so used to everything being so sharp. Everything's our TVs and everything's sharp all the time. Phones.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I appreciate the putting out as best a copy of things as they can, especially, I mean, 4K, the thing about 4K, you're just going to get you're actually getting a fairly uncompressed version of everything, but I'm just not going to go back and rebuy stuff that looks good on Blu-ray already.
Yeah.
Only way I'll go back is they come out and say, this is like the end all transfer that we've ever done, the best transfer we've ever done. It's like an 8K transfer on 4K, and but most movies look great on I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, but most movies look great on just a Blu-ray copy. And so many of those Kino movies look great. Arrow videos look great on just Blu-ray. I mean, you don't really need anything else.
I've done here lately, instead of buying the 4K, I saved a little bit of money and just got the Blu-ray release of it. That's by the same company that all they did was upgrade it a little bit, a couple of years later, and it looks really good. So it's just like I'm satisfied with that. I don't have to have the 4K, but like you said, it depends on if it's the best, at that time.
I've got that Django that came out last year. That Django set that Arrow released, and I didn't realize it. That I didn't. Camera looks like it's moving up. I guess I pre-ordered it, and for some reason I got it. I think they canceled the orders on a lot of them because they re-released it in 4K this year, but some people got their Blu-rays, and I was about to rebuy it, and I was like, well, I'm going to rebuy that. That movie's not going to look any better in 4K than it does on that copy I have.
Yeah.
Still, it's the same transfer. It's, so I was like, I canceled the pre-order. I was like, I don't know what I'm about to do. There's no reason for me to rebuy that. I've already got the same packaging and everything, and
it's pretty much the same. Everything on it, supplements, everything's the same pretty much. So that's the one I got. I got it's in a we call it
as far as I understand, is if some of the people that pre-ordered it got it, but then they canceled some of them, a lot of it, or something like that happened. It got canceled, and it didn't go out on wide distribution for some weird reason. I think people pre-ordered it from maybe Amazon. I don't know exactly how that worked, but somebody was telling me about that other day that had bought it on 4K, but I wasn't going to rebuy it again. After I thought about it, I was like, man, that's too much money to rebuy it. And it's not going to be any better than what I've already have.
Yeah, sometimes double dipping, it's like sometimes there is an improvement, but a lot of times you're getting the same thing, really hard.
Yeah.
That's the way I thought about it, because I had got that Django not long before the 4K was announced, and it's like I just bought this on the regular. I'm not going to go back out now and buy the 4K,
Yeah.
too. So it's just like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to fall in the 4K trap. I just want to. A lot of 4Ks I've bought so far is the movies I either didn't own in Blu-ray or didn't own even Blu-ray or DVD. So I've kind of upgraded to the top level immediately, by buying it in 4K. Some things I've rebought, just like Independence Day and like the Transformers series. I just wanted the box set all together, things like that, even though Independence Day didn't really look that great. Either one of those transfers were good.
Yeah. Well, it's like you were talking about the Hobbit series. Like they released it all in 4K, but they don't have the extended editions or something. It's just the regular. And then you're going to have to go back out and buy extended editions in 4K. So it's kind of like,
well, it's the extended edition. It's just not it's extended editions. It's just not it doesn't have the appendices, the extra features on it. It just comes with the 4K movies, extended movies.
Okay, yeah,
which kind of sucks. Now I'm kind of a sucker for for those movies, not the Hobbit, but the Lord of the Rings movie. The Hobbit, yes, but not so much. I like the first Hobbit movie, but I didn't like the other two that much.
No, I didn't either.
Well, I liked the second one up until the end. I was like, why didn't they just finish it? Because if they'd have finished it there, that was pretty much the end of the book. The end of the book didn't have all that other crap in it that came in the third movie. I hated they waited to do the death of Smaug at the very beginning of the next movie. It was so for Peter Jackson, that was just, I don't understand. That had to be a studio decision to do that. They must have said, we want 3 movies no matter what, and you had to figure out how to make 3 movies. That couldn't have been something that he chose to do after making the Lord of the Ring movies, which were great. And then he's like, because that should have been 1 movie. The Hobbit could have been the Hobbit book's only about 200 pages or something. It's not very long,
Well, if you remember how much money the first series made, I mean, they were just gargantuan amount of money. I think that's what they were thinking. The next time around, they were going to have all that, and I don't think they did as well as the first ones. I mean, I like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I think, better. But I do like the first Hobbit tale.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first movie, I mean, they add characters here and there, which they did with Lord of the Rings too. They kind of morph characters and to work with the screenplay, but the first and the second, at least the half of the second movie is, they're decently true to the book. At least there's stuff from the book that's in there. There's a lot more, but at least that. But then when it gets to there was no need for a third movie at all. It was just an action. They made the third movie a big action movie, essentially.
Well, I think they wanted to make it a trilogy, so it could be marketed better. But it's like, I don't even remember watching the last one. It's just so like unmemorable. I don't remember. I need to watch those again.
Yeah, like what I ended up getting them both on 4K, and now I wasn't blown away with the 4K transfer, even on my TV, which I can watch it on a pretty good TV, and I wasn't really blown away with the Lord of the Rings. It looks pretty good, but it isn't amazing. Now the Hobbit looks good, but the Hobbit was shot in 4K. I think it's rendered in 4K too. I think they actually shot it on high def digital. It wasn't shot on film. It was shot in high definition digital.
Yeah.
So, but I think they actually rendered it in 4K, which is not which is not done very much because it takes a lot of computing power to render that high. It just takes more money essentially to do it that higher resolution.
Yeah. Yeah, the first ones were filmed on film and on film.
But I thought it would transfer over really well, but it was good in places. It wasn't amazing. I don't think it's. I don't, after buying it, I mean, I got the Steelbook, which is awesome, but and the Steelbook thing is for me is I like it, but I'm not going head over heels. Now that's the thing Jody gets into, is he gets into those custom Steelbooks, and I'm like totally against that personally, because it's just like I'm for the movie. I'm definitely not for paying high dollar for
a case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they could make the cases available, you know, if you wanted to buy them separately, you know, maybe cheaper. But
Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he buys is just a case. It's not the movie with it. It's just the Steelbook case.
yeah.
Or slip cover, custom slip covers and stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't, I just don't care about that. If that's what you're into, that's fine. That's great. But I just don't want to. I've spent so much money on my collection, anyways. I can't imagine spending that kind of money on my collection, because because the regular Steelbooks are a little bit ridiculous, but I still like getting them because they're kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't know. When they first started coming out, they were kind of cool and stuff, but I never really saw myself wanting to get like a whole massive collection of steel books only. You know, I was just kind of like, yeah, you know, some are pretty cool, some are better than most. You know, just I want the movie. You know.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm more for the movie. Now, there's some things I do appreciate good, I do appreciate good boxing, but some of the Steelbook's fine because the Steelbooks aren't so ridiculous. They're a little bit high sometimes, but they're not so ridiculous. But now sometimes Arrow has been putting out some stuff, and it's been a single movie, but it comes in this massive packaging and stuff like that. I think I bought Donnie Darko was like that. But Donnie Darko wasn't that bad expensive. But they put out other stuff, been $60-$70 for a single title. And that's too much money to be spending. I'll buy their sets all day long for $70. It's like that Vengeance set's coming out. It's four. How many movies is it? 4 or 5 movies on it?
I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, but that's absolutely fine for 4 or 5 Blu-ray movies. $70. That's fine, but one Blu-ray movie, I don't care what kind of supplements you put in it, it's not worth that kind of money. And it's a limited edition, and that's the only way you can get that movie. I don't, I want an option to get it in a regular, which I guess eventually they'll do it on some things, but there's some things they've released recently. It's just been ridiculous. I just I'm not buying that. I'm not spending that. I don't want to see the movie industry go to the point of absolute hardcore collectors to the point where you have to spend massive amounts of money. I don't want to see it to go the Hot Toys route of things. The Hot Toys are like the high end market of toys. They're like $300, $400, $500, $600, $800 toys. I don't want to see movies go that route.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I don't think it will, but I don't know. They keep coming out with Steelbooks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about my dog.
Well, they got real popular.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it? He's like a little dog for sure.
Yeah, he's a Papillon. Shh. He knows I'm over here doing something. He's trying to get my attention, I guess.
What is it? A Papillon?
A Papillon. It's kind of like a cross between like a Chihuahua and like can't think of the name. It's a little dog. Got big ears.
Yeah, we actually have a Chihuahua, and they're called a Chug. They're a Chihuahua and a Pug mix.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fatty though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we came in, like mom, say I live here with mom and dad, and he's like this time of year he likes to lay outside, and he'll like lay out there in the baking hot sun. He just won't. You can't hardly get him to come in.
Yeah.
He likes laying on the porch. And before I came in, I went outside to set a few minutes, so he had to come out with me. And when I came in, I had to make him come back in because nobody was here. And he started snarling at me. He don't want to come in. He was pacing around the porch and jumping up at me. And I was like, to get in. And I had to scold him once he got in. I said, you don't need to be acting mean like that.
Yeah. And we have a cat
But
like that. Yeah, he'll lay out in the heat just all day, just baking out there. It's weird.
He loves it outside this time of year. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be burning up, but I don't know.
Yeah. They have to make him go in. He'll get panting or something. And you have to make him go inside. They don't like it sometimes because he just went out. That's why he got mad at me because I went out for a few minutes, and I was like, when I went out, it's like, well, I'm going to have to come back in a few minutes. I got to do my stream. And then when I made him go in, he didn't want to go in. I had to touch him, but he'll always jump. He does that to my mom too. He jumps up and growls at her. He don't want to go in.
Yeah. He's well, my dog usually gets a treat about this time of night before bed. I usually head into bed about around this time. So he's like on a clock. He knows what time it is. He's like, he knows it's about that time. So it's like well,
Yeah. Or well, we can't actually. He's diabetic. Actually, we just found out recently.
Oh, okay.
He started acting kind of lethargic, and he didn't want to. He was just kind of laying around, and mom took him and tested, and he was diabetic. It's just like it's like a type 1 type diabetes too. It's not like from necessarily eating bad. It was just something he had.
Yeah.
So he's got to get a shot twice a day.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It don't bother him though. It's like a really like super thin needle, so he probably barely feels it.
Yeah.
So it's aggravating. Mom has to take him to the doctor every couple of weeks to get his blood sugar checked. The mess.
Yeah, that sucks. Even for a person, to have to do that, that sucks too.
But the cats, our two cats, they like when I go to bed every night, I got to give them a treat. And usually give them one early in the day, and then I give them one. They just get treats all the time because my dad probably gives it to them when he gets up, and then I give them to. But when I go to bed every night, I go down every night and get like some water or a cup of ice or something before I get in bed. And when I go down, they always know that I always give both of them a treat.
Yeah, they know. They remember that stuff.
Yeah.
They don't need a watch.
Yeah, they're crazy. Well, I guess it's 10 o'clock, so we've been on about 3 hours. Normally I was going to keep it about 2 hours, but we kind of got going at the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to stop. So I guess I'm probably about ready to get off here because I've got to go to bed myself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on. It was good talking to you. I guess we could talk. It's just we need to we can talk about a lot of stuff, I guess,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind this if you want to start doing this maybe every couple of weeks or something. We don't have to do it every week because I know you're busy, but every couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
Now, the whole other thing I was talking to you about, that's not a big deal. I'm just trying to figure out something to do it's something I can do by myself, and I might be if I do it, I might do it by myself and have different people on week to week. I don't know. I don't think it'll go over very well. To be perfectly honest with you, because it's going to be like pulling teeth getting people to watch anything. Period. That they don't want to watch. It's not like a book club. I mean, if I'd have had like 50,000 followers, it's different. And if you have 1% of people participating, that's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but
I think I tried to share it on Facebook that the link and everything. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe people are doing something.
No, I'm not worried about this so much. You'll just
anything.
People probably watched it, but for some reason they didn't know they interacted or not. I'm not worried about that. I'm just, but the club, that movie club thing, I just don't know if it'll go over that well. Not right now. I'll do it later if I get up to having some more subs and things, getting a little more interaction.
Yeah.
Now, I have always, the weird thing about doing this is I always have people that are interested in it. It's like a lot of times when we put the promo stuff up for our other shows, I'll get a bunch of interest on Instagram, and then we go to the show and nobody shows up.
Yeah.
It's
like they like it, but they don't want to seek it out further.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I think we communicate well together. I think we can have some good shows. This in the future, will try to prepare a little bit better and kind of come up with a few more topics for us to talk about in the older movie realm, and kind of give us more of some things to aim at. It's not necessarily you'll have to do much homework. This time I just wanted to be more open and talk. We talked about everything, which is I like doing that. As far as, but there's some different things I like to talk about, like get into more talking about like the film that I went into earlier, talking about different film stocks and things like that.
Yeah. Things
like that in different eras, and because there's a lot of things in older movies I like to explore, and different actors and directors, and it's an endless pit of information out there when it comes to older movies. So,
well,
I appreciate you being on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would listen to it, so I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah.
But no problem, man. Anytime.